Welcome into Utah Grizzlies Hockey live on YouTube and Flow Sports. We are live in Boise, Idaho at the lovely Idaho Central Arena. I'm Tim Montemayor. Tyson Whiting joins me. And Tyson, obviously you know this more than just about anybody else. Idaho Central Arena and the Idaho Steelheads always represents a significant challenge, for the Utah Grizzlies.
Last season, the Steelheads were 25-10-1 here at home. They really struggled on the road, but they were outstanding at home. In fact, the 25 wins were tied for the most of any team in the league. They protect home ice pretty well, and they seem to be the kind of team. When they get that one goal, they get the momentum, they get the crowd fired up, and it's pretty tough to stop the bleeding in this place. Now, the Grizzlies last season went 3-5-0-1 here in this building. They got standings points in 4 out of 9 games, and you're almost excited. It was almost, you're almost excited to win 3 games out of 9 in this place, just because it's a tough place to win, especially with a good Idaho team that offensively has been rolling here throughout the early portion of the season.
Well, 12 goals in 2 games for the Idaho Steelheads certainly makes you wonder how Lucas Parikh will do between the pipes tonight for your Utah Grizzlies. And Tyson, I thought he was outstanding up here in the first preseason game a couple of weekends ago. I don't think there was any doubt he was very good last Saturday against his old friends in the Rapid City Rush. What have been your early impressions of Lucas Parikh?
I mean, he's got good size. He's about 6'4", 210 pounds. Might have lost a little bit of weight since in this past offseason from where he was in Rapid City. And I think that you see the quickness of him. You see a guy that anticipates plays well, and he's got a pretty quick glove. He showed that a few times in the warm-ups. Yeah. He looks like he looked like he was pretty sharp in warm-ups, and he's no stranger to this building because Rapid City plays Idaho about as much as Utah plays Idaho, and so this isn't unfamiliar territory for him.
Yeah, and by the way, tonight is the home opener for the Idaho Steelheads, so this place is going to be charged up, but goaltending certainly is an embarrassment of riches for the Utah Grizzlies. Obviously with Trent Miner down, obviously with Garrett Metcalf in the house as well. Like, there is a lot of goaltending talent in this organization, but a new name up front is an old name that you're well aware of. Tell us about Brandon Cutler.
Cutler last season wore number 29, and he had 27 points in 23 games. He was loaned to the Abbotsford Canucks on January 5th, 2022, and he didn't come back to Utah. So he spent the remainder of the season in the AHL. In 36 games with Abbotsford, he had 2 goals and 6 assists. He was in camp with the Manitoba Moose, which is where Matthew Boucher and Tyler Penner were also in camp. He got released by Manitoba and ends up back with the Grizzlies. He'll be wearing number 40 this season, and remember, he was like a left wing last year. We saw him a lot near the boards. He'll be playing center tonight, and I think it's going to be interesting with the plot, with the storyline. I think the main storyline is the fact that Brandon Cutler and Taryn Fizer were teammates in the WHL with the Victoria Royals for 3 seasons. So you pair those two up on a line with the incredible Ben Tardif, the playmaker who really makes everybody on his line better. You put those 3 on the line, I think that could do a lot of damage for the Grizzlies this weekend.
You're going to hear from Utah Grizzlies head coach and general manager Ryan Kanasowicz coming up here in just a couple of minutes, but obviously with Brandon Cutler here, somebody's gone. Kyle Betts is up in the AHL. I think that's a pretty significant loss for this team. I mean, I thought Betsy did a real big job, a real important job, and I think those shoes for Cutler are big shoes to fill on this team.
Betts ends up with the AHL's Belleville Senators on a loan. I think he's going to make his debut with Belleville tonight. Hopefully it's going well for him. Former Grizzly Matthew Boucher, who's with the Iowa Heartlanders, he was also loaned to Belleville, and there was one other player that was loaned to Belleville from this league, and so it's a good opportunity for Kyle Betts, especially a center that wins a lot of face-offs and really plays a good 2-way game. Hopefully he'll play well for Belleville. In the meantime, Brandon Cutler essentially takes his spot, and I think it's interesting he's playing center because we did see him on the wing last year.
That's right, yeah.
And he might have played a little bit of center with Victoria, but I think it's going to be fascinating to see how he integrates himself into the Grizzlies lineup this year.
Yeah, you're listening to Utah Grizzlies Hockey presented by Rio Tinto tonight, and I think the other point is, before we get to Ryan Kanasowicz, he has some interesting line combinations at his fingertips. Are you at all surprised that he just plugs Cutler right into that top line? And I think, to your point, the reason that he can do that is because he and Taryn Fizer have that experience together. But the guy you mentioned that I'm really interested in, it's time for Ben Tardif to get that first goal of the season. You know, we're 2 games in, and really, if you count the preseason, he played 1 of those 2 against Idaho. He's got 3 games in, and I thought last Saturday Ben Tardif was really effective, but are you surprised he's not on the goal sheet yet?
Not really. He's more of a playmaker. He's a distributor. He's a guy who's going to find the open target. In fact, you could probably argue there's a few times where he probably could take a shot, a relatively open shot, and he looks for that perfect pass on occasion. He had 20 goals last year, and I think there's a good chance he's going to find that scoring sheet, especially since he's playing with two other guys, and Brandon Cutler and Taron Pfizer, who are also pretty good at passing the puck. So, you get a forward line like that, find the open guy, and you're going to get a bunch of grade A scoring chances.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right, we're about 15 minutes away from face-off here. Tyson Whiting will have all of your play-by-play action right here on YouTube and Flow Sports. But right now, let's catch up with the head coach and general manager of your Utah Grizzlies, Ryan Kanasowicz.
It's up front for you guys tonight, and obviously he's a WHL alum from Alberta. Do you know anything about guys like that?
That was very good.
Nice being from Alberta. I mean, obviously we had Cutler here last year to start the season, and he went on to Abbotsford and did really well up there. It's great to have him back, but you flip that, we lose Kyle Betts, which he's been our number one center, but he's getting an opportunity as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, you talk about that turnover. We've talked about it a lot, it seems like, and I think you kind of anticipate that. But how difficult is it to fit somebody in that, really he's been here, less than a week now? Is that a real challenge for you guys?
No, the unique thing with Brandon is he was here. He played in our system last year, and he's familiar. I mean, he's got his Western Hockey League line mate, Taron Pfizer. So the comfortability in there for him is pretty seamless. So it's good to have him back.
We've talked also about juggling goaltenders. You have Parikh in that tonight. Like, how difficult is that decision for you?
I thought his game Saturday earned him the start today. So, we want our net to stay competitive, and they've been all three of them have been told that. And if you play well and you win, you're most likely going to get the next start. So.
Yeah, and Idaho's off to a great start. I mean, they've scored 12 goals in Iowa. I mean, what makes them so difficult to deal with, especially in Boise?
Well, the crowd here is obviously second to none. It'll be sold out here for the next couple nights. They got a lot of skill up front and a solid back end. A lot similar to us, and we're looking forward to the test.
Is this a place you enjoy coming to? Is this they're a rival? I don't know. I mean, Rapid City seems like that's turned up a little bit now, but Boise traditionally, as you're well aware, has been the rival. Is this a place would you say you look forward to playing here? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, we come here so much. I don't even consider this a road game anymore. We're so comfortable here. It's a great setup. There's great restaurants. It's a good city to come to. So, and we're just, the bus trip's not that far. It's a good spot to come for sure. The guys like it here too.
Nice. Good luck tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey live right here on YouTube and Flow Sports tonight. Live in Boise, Tim Montemayor along with Tyson Whiting. Tyson will have all your play-by-play coming up here in just about 12 minutes. But Tyson, as we look forward to this game tonight, you know Idaho as well as anybody. What makes Idaho so difficult to deal with, particularly in this building in Boise?
Well, they play a north-south game and make quick decisions. You see a lot of long-range passes, blue line to blue line passes. The defensemen for Utah have to be disciplined. We saw that in the preseason where Idaho got behind Utah's defense a couple times. And really, when you think about the skill level of Idaho, I think back to March 19th, 2022, maybe the greatest game played against the Grizzlies that I remember. Ryan Domowski, who wears number 15 for Idaho, he'll be in the lineup tonight. He had 5 goals and 1 assist. He was outstanding since he was acquired midseason in a trade with South Carolina. He's already got 3 goals this season. And so Domowski's somebody the Grizzlies are going to have to keep an eye out for. And when the Steelheads are on the power play, watch out for Matt Register up top and A.J. White in front of the net. That combination combined for a goal in the preseason against Utah. And Register's that experienced guy. Could be potentially a future Hall of Famer in this league with as much as he has done, winning a couple championships.
Absolutely.
And so Register with his size, it can make a difference. especially if Idaho's on the power play. And that's one of the when the Grizzlies have had games get away over the last few years against Idaho, it's because Idaho has been able to just kind of I would say just collect those power play goals. And so for the Grizzlies, it's important to stay out of the box because Idaho here in their barn seems to be pretty good on the power play.
Yeah, and you know what? Idaho Central Arena used to be CenturyLink. Now it's Idaho Central Arena. Is always full. Anytime you come here, and one of the things you can see if you're watching us live here on YouTube, and make sure you find the Utah Grizzlies on YouTube. Just search Utah Grizzlies Hockey. It will come right up. Hit subscribe. But one of the things you'll notice on our live feed tonight is that the fans are right on top of the ice. I mean, they're very close. When you look at the different buildings around the league, I mean, you've been to just about every building in this league. I mean, where does this rank, would you say, amongst all the competition?
I think because you almost have two levels, and where a lot of buildings there about this size, about 5,200. You see a couple others at about 5,700. It's all one level. You got the two levels. You got the concourse in between, and the roof isn't all that far up.
No,
it makes a lot of noise. It seems like the speakers work pretty well here at Idaho Central Arena. You pick up a lot of background noise, and it's just one of those environments that if you don't, if you're not disciplined, you're going to be. Yeah. It's going to be a tough night. So I think the important factors are going to be in this weekend. Idaho's going to make some plays, but when they do, Grizzlies have to answer back. They got to stop the bleeding immediately.
Yes.
When Idaho gets a goal, the first couple shifts after an Idaho goal is going to be critical because you don't want to let the Steelheads kind of turn one goal into two, and then before you know it, you're behind the 8 ball.
Well, and I think you're going to have to be pretty solid tonight on the blue line. And one of the things we've seen that the Grizzlies have really worked on in morning skates and in practices is being decisive on the puck, especially at the top of the zone. I think when we saw this team here in the preseason, they were a very different club, the Utah Grizzlies were, when it comes to handling the puck and when it came to, the way that they handle the puck in the zone. I think they showed last weekend against, Rapid City, very quick through the neutral zone. But the one thing that really you have to rely on is the Utah Grizzlies are a very good defensive team. They're very good because their forwards are very good defensively. They have the ability to slow down the neutral zone. How important is that going to be tonight?
I think the neutral zone is going to be everything. How many times can you get into your offensive zone with momentum? And I know Idaho wants to be that same way. They want to attack 2-on-1 from the perimeters, left wing, right wing, and they got the forwards that are skilled enough to do it. So discipline's certainly going to be important for the Grizzlies, and winning that battle in the neutral zone and winning the 50-50 pucks, because I thought Idaho did that in the preseason. They won a few more of those 50-50 pucks than you would like, as the Idaho Steelheads mascot, which is a bear, which I always thought was kind of interesting since a steelhead is a fish, but their mascot is a bear. As we'll get to the lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Utah Grizzlies, they're led by head coach and general manager Ryan Kanasowicz. His assistant is Jared Pike, who's my roommate on this road trip. And the Grizzlies right now are 1-1. It's their road opener. It's Idaho's home opener here at Idaho Central Arena, as Idaho was at Iowa last week. They won 2 games, and they scored 6 goals in each of the first 2 contests. It's going to be important for Lucas Preek to get off to a fast start. He played last Saturday night against Rapid City and stopped 25 of 27 in a Grizzlies 3-2 victory. Starting defenseman Nate Klerman, the second full season as a pro from Notre Dame. He played a little bit in the AHL towards the end of the 2020-21 season. Klerman's got 1 assist in 2 games and a +1 rating. He'll be paired up with James Shearer, the former Brandon Wheat Kings captain, who played the last 3 seasons at the University of Calgary. He made his pro debut on March 18th of 2022 on this ice, and he scored an empty net goal that led to a Grizzlies victory. So the starting defensive pairing is Klerman and Shearer. Other 4 defensemen we'll see tonight include the captain, Connor McDonald, who's a +1 this season in 2 games. Bryson Martin, the former 3rd-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres back in 2014. Victor Bartley, who has 121 games of NHL experience. He's going to be out there, as well as Andrew Nilsson, the big defenseman, had 2 assists last Saturday night. So Klerman and Shearer, the starting defensive pairing. We'll also see McDonald, Martin, Bartley, and Nilsson. At the forwards, Ryan Kanasowicz has 11 of them tonight. Starting forwards, Keaton Jamison. Seems like the 2 best games Jamison has played as a Grizzly have been against the Idaho Steelheads. That was late last season. So far in 2 games, Jamison is scoreless, but I got a feeling he's going to find the stat sheet this evening. He'll be paired up with Cameron Wright. And is tonight going to be the night that Cameron Wright gets his first professional goal? He leads Utah with 13 shots through 2 games. He had 8 last Saturday against Rapid City, including a couple of grade A chances. He's got pretty good size, and I got a feeling once he gets adjusted to pro hockey, the goal's going to pile up in a hurry. And Zach Sekos, who's got a goal in each of the first 2 games this season, and Sekos has 2 penalty minutes as well, 5'10", 179 pounds, and a ton of quickness. I think the 3 of those forwards complement each other pretty well. Jamison, Wright, and Sekos are the starting forwards. We'll also see Johnny Walker in the Grizzlies lineup, as well as Tyler Penner. Penner lined up next to Dylan Fitz and Dakota Raby tonight. Watch out for that forward line. They'll be on the 3rd line for the Grizzlies. The starting forwards are going to be the 2nd line tonight, but they'll obviously be on the ice first. I'm interested in seeing Cam Strong tonight, wearing number 26. He played last season with Reading and South Carolina, and he was a +5 with South Carolina last season. Remember, South Carolina was a struggling team. But the forward line that really stands out, and the forward line of Taryn Pfizer, Brandon Cutler, and Ben Tardif. That's right, if you joined us late, Brandon Cutler signed with the Grizzlies this past Tuesday, and he'll be wearing number 40. Last season, he was number 29. He'll be wearing number 40 this season. He'll be lined up with Taryn Pfizer. Remember, Pfizer and Cutler were teammates with the Victoria Royals in the WHL for 3 seasons. So I think it's going to be an interesting lineup for Ryan Kanasowicz this evening, and I think that top forward line could set the tone of Pfizer, Cutler, and Tardif, but I really like the 3 forwards that are starting the game, Jamison, Wright, and Sekos, because I think those 3 guys really complement each other skill-wise.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, that familiarity you've talked about, if you're Brandon Cutler, you're walking into a team that's really familiar with each other, so it's nice to see those friendly faces, and certainly Taryn Pfizer is one of those guys for Brandon Cutler, as we are just moments away from face-off here at Idaho Central Arena. I mean, I would think the keys to the game tonight, you got to get pucks to the net, and with that lineup you just broke down, I think you're going to see a lot of pucks to the nets for the Grizzlies, and I think you got to be really solid in the neutral zone.
Utah outshot Rapid City in each of the first 2 games. Utah usually does that against Rapid City, as it seems like the Rush do allow a lot of shots. That's not necessarily the case with Idaho. In fact, for the majority of the season last year, Idaho was just allowing about 24 or 25 shots per game. So for them, they want scoring chances to be at a premium from the Idaho perspective, as it's their home opener. So they're introducing their entire team, and that's going to be Adam Scheel. We did not see him in the preseason, but Adam Scheel is 1-0 in 1 game. He allowed 2 goals last week against Iowa and has a .931 save percentage. The Grizzlies saw Scheel very early last season. In fact, I think it was the season opener last year when he was with the Steelheads, but he spent the majority of the season with the AHL's Texas Stars. He's got an NHL entry-level deal. He's 23 years old, 6'3", and 192 pounds. So watch out for Adam Scheel in net. He'll be wearing number 35. Starting defensive pairing for the Steelheads, Matt Register has won 2 Kelly Cups back-to-back with the Colorado Eagles back in 2017 and 2018. 2 years ago, he was outstanding with the Allen Americans, and he played overseas last year, and he's back in this league. He'll be paired up with Owen Hedrick. Hedrick wearing number 7, and he's somebody to watch out for. Hedrick played at Syracuse in the AHL a little bit last year, and he's got an AHL deal. Starting forwards, Jordan Kawaguchi wearing number 77. Kawaguchi spent the majority of the season, if not all of last year, in the AHL with the Texas Stars. In fact, he did spend all last year in the AHL, 49 games. He had 6 goals and 17 assists. The guy that really gave the Grizzlies all sorts of fits last season is their captain, A.J. White. He scored about a point a game against Utah last year. White's wearing number 18, and watch out for him in front of the net. He had 25 goals and 44 assists last year. And in the preseason, looked like Giannis Vandenbergs made quite an impression in 2 games. He's only 21 years old, 6'3", and 190 pounds. And Monty, you talk about the Grizzlies having a lot of depth at the forwards positions. Idaho also has a lot of depth at the forward spots. And I think if you're talking about who's going to win the division, I think you might be looking at the top 2 teams right here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, Rapid's going to have is going to have a say about that, obviously, as we show you your Utah Grizzlies on the ice getting ready to go. As the announcements are being made still and introductions of the Idaho Steelheads. But yeah, I think these 2 teams, if Idaho continues the level of play that we saw with them in Iowa, if they're going to score 6 goals a game, they're going to run away with this division. But my guess is the Utah Grizzlies present a much more difficult challenge on opening night than Iowa did.
Iowa's one of those teams, they struggled defensively last year, and it looks like the defensive struggles have continued as the Grizzlies are wearing the black jerseys with white numbers. It's a little bit of a different variation from last year because there's a little bit more white on the elbows. There's horizontal green stripes mixed in on the forearms. They've also got a little bit of professional green mixed in with the outline of the numbers. It is a sharp-looking jersey, and because it's early in the year, you don't have those scuff marks. It is a very clean jersey with the black and white mixed in.
I wanted to hear you say professional green trim. I have to have it every single game.
Well, the gloves are professional green right there with a little bit of white and black mixed in. The Steelheads are wearing a white jersey with black numbers and a little bit of royal blue mixed in. It is their 25th anniversary, and because it's their opening night, the entire Idaho lineup was announced, and they're all standing on their blue line as Grizzlies have their starting lineup out there as well. We'll get to that after our national anthem, as looks like a good crowd is packed in here. They're expecting a sellout, and now our national anthem. Well, you always look for a great rendition of the national anthem on opening night, and that's what we got here. It's the Idaho home opener. It's the Grizzlies' first road game. The Grizzlies won 19 road games last season. It's the start of an 8-game road trip, and you want to start out the road trip and you want to start out the road season on the right foot against a tough Idaho Steelheads team.
You do, and that's not going to be easy because this building's very difficult to play in. I think we're all aware of it, and they are expecting a packed house, as Tyson mentioned in the introductions, but I don't think there's any doubt. Whoever can steal the momentum early in this game probably wins this game. You know the Steelheads are happy to be home. You know that they're going to be completely jacked up and come out with a lot of energy. It's going to be the Utah Grizzlies' job to match that energy and be able to sustain the early onslaught that you know is certain to come from the Idaho Steelheads. And it's great to be back in Idaho, Tyson. It's great to be back here in the great city of Boise. And this is going to be a really critical start to this season for the Utah Grizzlies on the road, because we all know in this league, winning on the road is absolutely your ticket to the playoffs. Winning on the road in the playoffs is your ticket to a deep run and access to the Kelly Cup. That's what we're all doing here. Right now with the play-by-play, the voice of the Grizzlies, Tyson Whiting.
Good to be here as Zach Sekos wins the face-off against A.J. White, Nate Clerman, and James Shearer, the defensive pairing. Shearer has the puck as the Grizzlies skate from left to right as Clerman crosses center ice and dumps into the left corner. as Adam Scheel behind his net almost turns over as the Grizzlies were looking for it in the right corner. As it goes back to Matt Register, he'll spin it back to Owen Hedrick. Hedrick collides behind the net with Cameron Wright. As Wright looking for a shot, Keaton Jamison, and it goes wide and stays in play. Now we'll hit off the netting, but the whistle was blown a little bit late. Draw's going to stay in the Steelhead zone as we get our first whistle 27 seconds into the game.
And here comes Brandon Cutler onto the ice for the first time tonight, and for the first time this season, wearing number 40 for the Utah Grizzlies. An excellent opening shift right there. And I think, again, it's only a matter of time before Jamison and Wright make a really big impact, but I'm interested to see what Brandon Cutler has to offer.
Cutler's taking the face-off for Utah. He was on the left wing for the majority of his time last season in the first half with Utah before being loaned to the AHL and stayed there as Idaho wins the draw. As the Steelheads to the right side gets back check, Fizer with a shot, kick saved by Scheel. Fizer with another shot, saved by Scheel. That's the first time Taryn Fizer has been denied by a goaltender this year, as he was 3 for 3 going in. As Jade Miller, number 26, dumps it in, rolls around to the right point. Steelheads keep it in the offensive zone. Patrick Kudla, he'll take a lefty shot that goes wide as McDonald was net front with a Steelhead. As Idaho tries to pitch it out in front, McDonald picks it off. Zach Walker pokes it away. It rolls towards Tardif. He'll feed it ahead to Brandon Cutler. Cutler at center ice goes down, and the referee spotted it. Cutler draws a penalty as Idaho touches up the puck. And we get 2 minutes for tripping as the Grizzlies, a minute 7 in, go on the power play as Patrick Kudla heads to the box.
No score, 18:53 to go in the first period, and already Brandon Cutler paying dividends for the Utah Grizzlies, draws the penalty, and now a Powerade power play, and these are critical. We talked about seizing the early momentum. I don't think there's any doubt that this is an idyllic start for the Utah Grizzlies, and now you have Zekos Jamison out there, and I think Wright as well. This is a huge start for the Grizzlies.
Draws is going to be in the left circle. It's won by Utah as Bryson Martin throws it up top for Victor Bartley. Martin to the left side, just outside the circle. Drops it back off for Bartley. He'll get it across to right, and the right side will take a shot. I got redirected and deflects over to the right corner. As Register gets it, he'll feed it over to the left side. Bryson Martin wearing number 14. Gets it towards Sekos. Now Jamison behind the net, defended by Register. As Grizzlies try to feed Martin to the left side, it gets kicked back towards the end wall. As Idaho spins it back to the near side, and the Steelheads will sail it over the head of Zach Sekos. Lucas Parikh will play the puck as it rolls towards him to the side of the net. He'll give it to Jamison, make that Victor Bartley. Bartley will drop it back off for Wright. Cameron Wright crosses center ice down the middle. He'll feed a right wing pass to Jamison. Back to Wright in the right corner as he spins it back around. Big collision towards the goal line. Sekos up top for Bartley. He feeds it across to Jamison on the right side. He's got plenty of room as now he's in the circle. He'll bounce it off the near boards for Bartley. Victor skates towards his left. He'll feed it back to Martin. Now back to Bartley in the high slot. He'll get it towards Sekos. He'll bounce it off the far wall. Puck's down the left corner. Trying to get to Sekos. He got a stick lifted and rolls to the right point for Martin. Bryson Martin gets it to the near goal line. Jamison skates in. Shot saved by Scheel. Rebound to the right corner. Martin has it. He'll get it up top for Bartley. Back to Martin as the Grizzlies, 40 seconds left in the power play, tries to feed it out in front. It kicked off the skate. Wright gets it up top for Bartley. He's got good hands. He'll take a shot. Got redirected about halfway to Scheel. Rolls towards Martin. And it looks like Jamison got physical with Nick Canati. Canati went down, and Jamison's called 2 minutes for tripping. And that will do it for the Grizzlies power play. We'll have 31 seconds of a 4-on-4. Then the Steelheads will have the man advantage after that.
Excellent start to this game. Utah Grizzlies hockey presented by Rio Tinto tonight. And I can tell you, if you're Ryan Kanasowicz, you're not going to be happy about the penalty, but I think you're very happy that you're already getting pucks to the net. 3 shots on goal already in the first 3 minutes for the Utah Grizzlies.
And the Grizzlies have possessed the puck for the majority of the first 2 minutes and 37 seconds of this game. 17:23 left in the first. We're skating 4-on-4. Utah wins the face-off. Shearer gets it over to Klerman. He's behind Utah's net. He feeds it back to Shearer. Now back to Klerman as he'll toss it down the middle for Fizer. Action still in the Grizzlies zone as Fizer will skate towards his right. Now he'll feed it to the left side as the puck bounced off of Ben Tardif's stick and goes deep into the Steelhead zone. Tardif tried to wrap it around the boards. Idaho picked it off. Ty Pelton-Bice, number 17, gets it to Domowski. Back to Bice. He'll take a shot. Saved by Parikh. Rebound goes out to the near side. Register with a shot. It's blocked by Fizer as Register tried to feed it out in front. As now the Steelheads are on the power play as they'll throw it into the Steelhead zone to the Grizzlies. Idaho will set things up.
Huge save by Parikh right there to keep this game scoreless.
Matt Register will quarterback this power play. He'll skate down the middle, neutral zone. He'll drop it back off for Kawaguchi. Jordan's his first name as he'll skate to the right side in the zone. He gets hit by Bartley. Grizzlies try to feed it across, deflects off the stick and goes out of play off the protective netting. 16:21 left in the first. Grizzlies are shorthanded for the next 58 seconds.
Well, again, really nice to have a guy like Victor Bartley on the blue line for the Utah Grizzlies, clearing the puck, moving the puck well on the power play, getting physical to break up that rush there by Idaho. His experience is invaluable.
Still early on, no score. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 3-1. Draw one by the Steelheads as Register will feed it over to Owen Hedrick. He'll get it to the corner as it bounces around A.J. White behind the net, battling with Bartley. Puck ends up squirting towards the high slot. Hedrick gets it over to Spanenbergs, back to Hedrick. He'll get it to the right side for Register. He'll feed it to the right circle, now back up top for Register. Matt will get it to Hedrick, left side, shot, and that one's blocked by McDonald, and Connor clears it out to Steelheads territory. Racing after it's Dakota Raby. Raby skates up, take a shot, saved by Shield. As Raby won the foot race easily, he'll center it over towards Strong. Strong's shot is saved by Shield, and the Steelheads come up with it, but how about that? McDonald was just trying to clear the zone, and Raby turned it into a breakaway.
Beautifully done.
Steelheads into the offensive zone right side, skates towards the circle, and they'll feed it back up top. Patrick Kudla, he'll get it to the right circle. Now to Pelton Bice, back to Kudla. Pelton Bice tries to feed it out in front, it kicked off the skate. Now to Kudla left side, skates towards the circle, is out of the penalty box as Jamison. We're back to 5-on-5 skating. Bice with a shot, and that one's blocked by Shearer. And the puck goes back to Pelton Bice. He skates towards the corner. He gets hit by Clermont, but keeps the puck. As the pass goes out to the right point, and Haskinen was able to keep it in. He'll get it to the corner. Grizzlies pick it off and skate it out to neutral ice. Puck bounced off a couple skates as Kudla will feed it ahead, and it got redirected, says the linesman. Snow icing as Shearer will roll it along the far wing board. Stays in Grizzlies territory as Shearer will tap it back to the corner. Sekos runs after it. He tries to get it to right, but didn't have a passing angle. Rolls it back the other way. Grizzlies still in their own zone. Jamison with a rink-wide pass to Sekos, and looked like it was played with a high stick near the Steelheads bench as Sekos was trying to receive the pass that was about shoulder high, and the draw is going to be at neutral ice.
Excellent hand-eye coordination there by Zach Sekos. Wears number 17 for the Utah Grizzlies. But again, here you are. We're talking about the keys to this game. Really good shot blocking, and when you're a defenseman or you're a forward on the power play at the top of the zone and you get that shot block, bad things happen. And we saw that with the Raby breakaway.
Jack Becker wins the center ice face-off. Now Zach Walker in the right wing dumps it in. Walker gets cut off. Jamison skates after it as he avoids a check of Walker. Walker plays a physical two-way game. Walker hacking away. Nilsson nudges him in the back. Now Nilsson gets a puck. He'll throw it ahead. Bryson Martin now to Cameron Wright. 1-on-2. Wright crosses center ice. Tries to dump it in and hit off Register. Wright will dump it in towards the Steelhead zone. Picked off in the slot as Idaho will get it to center ice. It glanced off the stick, and Nilsson has it in Utah zone as the Grizzlies skate from left to right. Nilsson up ahead to Sekos with a one-time tap, and it goes deep into the Steelhead zone. Sekos comes off the ice after a good shift as Johnny Walker's out there for Utah, as well as Ben Tardif and Taryn Pfizer as the Steelheads cross center ice. Now they gain the offensive line. Justin Misiak, the cousin of former Grizzly Ryan Misiak, dumps it in. Misiak behind the net battling with Pfizer. Pfizer feeds it out to the corner for Bartley. Bartley with an outlet pass that bounced off the stick of Walker. Now Idaho re-enters. Kudla will drop it off as the Steelheads. Willie Nierum looks for a move on McDonald, but couldn't handle it, but he regathers it. Throws over to the right point. Shot! Saved by Parikh. Nice glove stop on the shot by Owen Hedrick from the right point as we remain scoreless. 13:26 left in the first period. Both teams have had one power play. Utah's outshot Idaho 4-2. We're back after this. It's Utah Grizzlies Hockey presented by Rio Tinto. No score, 13:26 left in the first. Lucas Parikh has looked solid in net, stopping both shots he has seen. And one of the things I've been impressed with Parikh is a very quick glove to go along with a 6'4" frame.
Yeah, and I think, you know, his athleticism is what really stands out. And I think what you've seen tonight is really good vision, really good athletic ability. That first save he made was absolutely critical. That could very easily have given Idaho the advantage and given them a 1-0 lead. You get behind at Idaho Central Arena to the Idaho Steelheads, it's a very steep hill to climb.
Getting a little noisy in Boise. First of a 2-game series. Both teams will be here tomorrow night for the second of a 2-game set. Then the Grizzlies will be in Kansas City for 3 games next week and then head to Allen, Texas, about 30 minutes away from Dallas, as the draw in the Grizzlies zone, initially won by Idaho, but now Utah's up with it as Pfizer feeds it out to Victor Bartley. Bartley with a patient approach. He'll get it back to McDonald. Connor still in the Grizzlies zone. He'll toss it ahead to Tardif. Now he throws a left wing pass to Bartley. Bartley throws it to the corner as he collides with Patrick Kudla. Kudla lost his helmet. He has to skate off the ice. Now at center ice, the Steelheads enter the zone from the right side. They feed it centering pass to Becker, but he couldn't handle it as Tardif rolls it back to Connor McDonald, who's behind Lucas Parikh as the Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the first period. And he'll get it to Ben Tardif on the left side. He drops it back off for Bartley as Victor glides towards the far wall. He'll throw it to center ice and taps off a Brandon Cutler's stick and goes to Adam Schill, catches it on one hop, and he'll nudge it ahead as Idaho crosses center ice again. Kawaguchi with a left wing pass to White. White back towards Svanenberg, so he'll get it around to White on the right side. He tried to center it, kicked off the Grizzly, and that was James Shearer once again in the right place at the right time. Cam Strong to the right side, skates to the circle, take a shot, kick save by Schill. Schill looks like he's a pretty athletic goalie, 6'3", 192 pounds. He spent most of last year in the AHL with the Texas Stars. As the Steelheads still in their own zone, they spread the ice. They get 3 new forwards out there as Ty Pelton-Bice is out there along with Colton Keller and Ryan Domowski. Pass up ahead to center ice, deflects off the stick of Pelton-Bice. It bounces off the glass deep in Grizzlies territory. Now to Johnny Walker to center ice for Sekos. He feeds it across to Cam Strong, who couldn't reach it. Strong will skate over there, enter the zone, get it to Walker. He gets cut off before he was able to get a shot off by Owen Hedrick. As the Steelheads, blue line to blue line pass kicked off of the stick of Nilsson, but not according to the linesman, as icing is called, and the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw with 11:42 left in the first.
What's up, Nicholas Hayes? Good to see you. If you're listening to us tonight on YouTube, make sure you drop a comment. Please give us a thumbs up and a like. It really helps the channel grow, which obviously is what we're trying to do. So if you're here, give us a comment, and we'll shout you out here on the Utah Grizzlies broadcast network. But good to see Penner in the middle here. Love him on the draws for the Utah Grizzlies.
Raby's looked good early on, as well as Dylan Fitz. Utah wins the face-off. Bryson Martin skates towards the right corner. He feeds to the circle. Idaho picks it off. Owen Hedrick's had a good start to this game. He'll get it to Keller. Keller will dump it in from the offensive blue line. And a big-time hit there. Nilsson back to his feet wearing number 44 as he'll throw it to the center ice at the left wing, over to Raby, who dumps it in. Raby gets around a skater, and that's Hedrick. Raby gets the puck. He skates behind the Idaho net. Steelheads take it away. Up ahead to Justin Misiak, who played at Michigan Tech the last few years. He'll step over the offensive blue line, skate towards the right corner as he gets hit by Bartley. Idaho will take over as Becker throws it up top as the Steelheads right point shot, saved by Parikh. Rebound, Grizzlies have it with McDonald, who clears it out.
Excellent clearance there by your captain, and I think that's one of those plays, again, big rebound because he didn't see it, but a great clearance.
Misiak enters the offensive zone. Miller falls in front of him. Now Miller has the puck along the near wall, and he'll spin it back to the right corner as Victor Bartley collides with Willie Nierum, number 29. Nierum's got good size. He can't locate it. It goes behind him. Cameron Wright feeds it back to neutral ice, but the Steelheads have it back. Kudla will drive it around the boards. Bartley cuts it off along the far side. He'll flip it high into the air. Bouncing puck. There are 3 Steelheads in their own zone, and one of them has as they get it across to Nick Canati. Canati was outstanding in Ogden in the second preseason game. Canati skates to the left side, take a shot. Saved by Parikh as it bounced off of Parikh's glove and rolls to the right corner. Now the Grizzlies attack 3-on-3. Wright gets it over to Jamison. He skates towards the left circle, getting around a Steelhead. He'll look for a shot, and it rolls towards Adam Schill. And after the whistle, Cameron Wright has somebody going after him, and that's Nick Canati. And looks like Keaton Jamison getting after it with somebody in the corner as we're halfway through the first period, and there's still no score.
Idaho captain A.J. White in there, and again, I mean, it's something I don't understand. And maybe it's just that Wright is that guy. Cameron Wright you know, is a guy that has gotten a lot of physical attention. He got a lot of attention from, Rapid City, so not surprising. Big shout out to Take It to the Max 6. How are you? Sarah Amundsen, good to see you. Brian Simpson, good to see you. Nadine Hallowell, good to see you. Thanks to everybody watching the Utah Grizzlies, as we call the game right here on YouTube. We'll be here all season long. So again, make sure you hit subscribe and give us a thumbs up.
Draw's going to be in the left circle. Offensive zone face-off for Utah. It's Brandon Cutler that takes it, but it's Idaho that wins it. As Matt Register will feed it to the near side as the Steelheads throw it across. Nick Canati bounces off the board. Zach Walker dives and dumps it into the Grizzlies zone. Nielsen has it. He'll throw it ahead to Cutler. Cutler across to Pfizer, right side. He tried to bounce it off the boards, gets it back. He'll feed it ahead to Cutler. Slot shot, and it goes wide. That was Cutler's first shot attempt, as it's not going to be an official shot, but good to see Brandon Cutler back in a Grizzlies uniform. As Jack Becker crosses center ice left wing and dumps it in. As Nielsen feeds it across to Bryson Martin. It goes off his stick. Pfizer gets it back to Martin. He'll feed it to the far corner for Nielsen. As the Grizzlies still in their own zone. Now Tardif gets it ahead to Cutler. Brandon will dump it in. Pfizer, his former teammate of Victoria. Their teammates again as Pfizer to the right side gets tripped up. And I'm amazed the official let that one go. As Pfizer got tripped up and he lets the official know it. Tonight it's Trevor Wolford. Idaho crosses center ice and dumps it in. As Tardif skates around his own net, he'll gather the puck as he'll feed it up ahead. Dylan fits the right side, but the linesman said he was offside on a pretty close play. And Monty, I'm amazed there, as Pfizer got tripped up in the right corner that one was let go.
Yeah, and I don't think there was any doubt that should have been a tripping penalty there, but we are more than halfway through. 9 minutes left in the first period. No score, live in Boise on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
We're still waiting for the first goal of the game. 8:59 left in the first. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 5-4, and I think the great thing there, especially the first 5 minutes of the game, is just how much offensive zone time the Grizzlies were able to get.
Yeah, and I think the Utah Grizzlies have done a phenomenal job controlling momentum early in this game, which we talked about. Again, you're only up 5-4 in the shots, but it feels like a lot more than that. And I also think Lucas Parikh has been, again, as advertised, really solid between the pipes for the Utah Grizzlies.
Ty Pelton-Bice will take the face-off on the left side. He wins this. The Steelheads are in the offensive zone. Register with a shot. Gets redirected and goes to the corner. Register gets it back. Right left point. He'll take a shot. Glanced off the Keller. Domowski with a shot. That gets blocked. Hedrick on the right side. He stood out in the first period for Idaho. He'll get it towards the left corner. Utah picks it off. Tyler Penner crosses center ice. He gets back-checked by Pelton-Bice. Penner's able to dump it in. As it rolls back to the right side. Fitz with a shot. Save by Shield. Now left point, shot goes wide as it rolls along the glass. Now the Steelheads in the transition game. Keller up ahead to Domowski. Domowski, Eagle tries to feed it out in front for Keller, and it glanced off a skate. And it rolls to the right point. Idaho throws it back to the left corner. Now spinning behind the net is Ty Pelton-Bice. He tries to get Register out in front. McDonald gets a stick in the way, and the Grizzlies are able to clear it out to center. Utah up ahead as Svanenbergs on the right side. Grizzlies have numbers. Svanenbergs will whip it around the boards. Justin Misiak towards A.J. White. Back to Misiak. I tried to kick it out in front. Hit off a skate and rolls towards Parikh, and Lucas covers up with 7:58 left in the first.
Excellent stick work there by Connor McDonald, the captain of the Utah Grizzlies, number 5. And you know what? It was described to me the day they named him captain. He just does everything right. And you can see that tonight. He is really Johnny on the spot. You got to love what you're getting off the blue line. Is Zach Sekos out again, number 17 for your Grizzlies to take the draw.
Grizzlies hockey here on Flow Sports and YouTube as Utah wins the draw. Gets over to the corner for Cameron Wright. Wright will flip it high into the air to center ice. It's gloved by Jamison and dropped 2-on-2. Jamison skates towards the slot. A good poke check by Kudla. Idaho comes back the other way as A.J. White will get it. He'll dump it in. It bounced off a body. Got redirected, so no icing as Grizzlies skate around the net. Klerman gets it across as Sekos skates to center ice, left wing. Now he enters the zone. Idaho got back defensively. Sekos will set up shop in the left point. He'll center it over towards the high slot, and Shearer's shot gets blocked as it rolls back to Shearer at center ice. James backs it out into his own zone as the Grizzlies get 3 new forwards on the ice. Klerman throws to neutral ice. They get it across to Shearer. James feeds ahead. It kicked off the stick of Cam Strong. Idaho comes back the other way, skating from right to left as Wright delivers a big hit for Utah. Now the Steelheads make a nice move skating towards the left side. Knierim with a shot that goes wide. As he was trying to go glove side on Parikh, Knierim gets it back along the far boards. He'll get it to the goal line. Puck was played high. Bryson Martin gets it as Grizzlies 3-on-4 cross center ice. Cam Strong dumps it in. As it goes towards Kanadi, he'll spin it back to the right side. Bryson Martin trying to cut it off, but it's the long stick of Matt Register up ahead. He'll get it to center ice. Idaho's pass didn't connect. As Grizzlies will dump it back in, just enough for Utah to make a full line change. Idaho crosses center ice. Jack Becker will gain the line, skates down the middle. He'll feed it to the left side. Becker's now on the left. He'll bounce it to the right point. Colton Keller gets the puck. He'll skate to the right corner. Keller defended by Tardif. As the Steelheads skate back towards the right point, he'll get it to Hedrick. He skates towards his left. Now to the left side for Kudla. He trying to feed it cross ice. It bounced off the stick of Cutler as all Utah trips up Idaho in the right corner. And it's going to be called as Victor Bartley was battling in the corner. And it looks like it's going to be a cross check, as I believe that was Ty Pelton-Bice that was over there. Maybe Domowski. Both guys were over in that same area. But Bartley is going to the box with 6:09 left in the first.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, if you watch the replay on this one, Bartley clearly had the 2 hands across the lower back there. So now a critical power play to kill for your Utah Grizzlies with 6:09 to go in the first period. And what has been a very entertaining game. And this is a really important kill with Zekos again in the circle. Klerman and Shearer with Cameron Wright.
Draw one by Idaho as Register gets it to Hedrick on the right side. Hedrick, he tries to feed it to White out in front. White with a shot, and Parikh makes a save, and the Grizzlies clear it out. Wait, for a second, it looked like Hedrick was taking a shot, but that was clearly a pass to A.J. White with a lot of mustard on it. Parikh was able to make the save.
Excellent clearance by Klerman there.
Register over to A.J. White, flies high into the air, and oh, what a catch by a fan over in section 204. As looked like one of those, I couldn't see if he had a beer in one hand and made the catch over to his left.
Delaney Ashbrook watching on YouTube says, great production. We love you, Tyson. Delaney, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
I'm sure Delaney also likes you, Monty.
Probably not. You're way better looking than I am.
No. And by the way, I am short and you are pretty tall right there on the YouTube feed. My dad's 6'4". I don't know what happened to me. As it draws at neutral ice, the Steelheads are still on the power play for the next minute 30. Idaho steps over the offensive line. Svanenbergs rolls it back around, taken by Kawaguchi as he gets pushed, and Cameron Wright will take it and clear it out. One of the things that Connor McDonald said to me last Friday about Cameron Wright is he's a little bit of a rat. He's going to be that guy that opposing teams are going to be frustrated to play against. A.J. White over to Kawaguchi, feeds to the right side, bounced off the stick of Hedrick. Hedrick gets it up top for A.J. White. That's not where he usually stands. He'll get it to Hedrick. White will station himself in front of the net. Register gets to the right side as Idaho gets it back up top. Register with a blast. Parikh makes a save.
Boy, if you're Hedrick, you got to do a much better job controlling that pass. That was not a difficult pass, and it really cost Idaho some momentum on that power play. Made Register jog across the top of the zone. White took his time getting down, and that was a real advantage now as there's about 56 seconds to go on the kill. Looks like Pens is back in the dot for the Utah Grizzlies.
Penner will take the face-off against Ty Pelton-Bice as we're still scoreless. About 5 minutes left in the first period. Utah wins the face-off. Idaho kept it in the right side as Utah tried to clear it out. Idaho on the right point gets it back to the left for Kudla. Now to Keller, back up top for Kudla, who wears number 47. He'll feed it back ahead to Kudla, left side. He'll get it to the right side. Utah picks it off, and Tyler Penner clears it out as Idaho tried to throw a cross-ice pass, and Penner anticipated it. Utah makes a full line change. We got less than 30 seconds left in the Idaho power play. We're still scoreless. Left wing pass to Domowski. He enters. Domowski skates towards the goal line. I tried to center it to Keller, and the Grizzlies got another stick in the way as it goes flying into the seats.
Yeah, that's an excellent clearance there with 19 seconds to go on the kill. And listen, I'm telling you, this is one of those situations where you're seeing who Ryan Kanasowicz really believes in on the kill. Now you're going to have Dylan Fitz taking the face-off here because that's a guy that's a veteran. He's got an A on his chest for a reason.
Fitz has been a great two-way forward, and he's certainly been pretty good on the penalty kill since joining the Grizzlies. He came from a team in Orlando that was a pretty good defensive unit. He played there for about 3 years. Idaho wins the draw, left circle, Cudler with a shot, and that's blocked by Fitz. Fitz will clear it out to neutral ice. Keller tried to keep it in, but Fitz overpowered it on a pretty hard-looking pass.
That's why Dylan Fitz is on the ice right there. That's an excellent shot block.
Pelton Bice with a right wing pass to Cudler. He'll get it to Keller. Keller tries to center it to Pelton Bice, but it goes wide. Over in the corner, Fitz will kick it ahead as action still in the Grizzlies zone. Keller skates towards his right. Is out of the penalty box is Victor Bartley. He's on the ice now as Utah has it behind Lucas Parik's net. Less than 4 minutes left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho's now outshot Utah 7-6.
Patrick Cudler took a big hit from Nate Klurman. He limped off the ice. We'll see if he makes a return this period for Idaho.
Grizzlies throwing out to center ice. Pfizer ahead to Cutler. Or make that Tardif. Tardif tries to get it to Cutler, and Idaho picks it off. Nick Canati crosses center ice. Couldn't get it in deep as Andrew Nilsson cut in. And now the Steelheads are offside. Good job by Andrew Nilsson not letting Idaho dump the puck in right there from neutral ice.
Yeah, and I think that was a critical penalty kill there. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I think is really interesting is that the momentum has not been captured by either team. I think obviously the Grizzlies got off to a very fast start, but I think Idaho answered that, and now they've gone back and forth as we are scoreless. 3:30 to go in the first period, live in Boise. You're listening to Utah Grizzlies Hockey.
Minutes, 30 seconds left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 7-6. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Tim Montemayor as we're live on Flow Sports and YouTube all season long. Don't forget the Grizzlies and Steelheads will meet once again tomorrow night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. Then the Grizzlies will be on the road for 3 in Kansas City and 3 in Allen and return home against the same Idaho Steelheads team the third week of November. As the Steelheads win the face-off and dump it in as Tardif gets it back over to the right corner. Cutler's over in the area. Interesting to see Cutler wearing number 40. Andrew Nilsson was number 40 in the first half of last season. Both guys are battling with two Steelheads in the corner. Idaho comes up with a puck. Right wing shot. Blocker saved by Parik. Grizzlies have a 3-on-3 pass ahead. Deflects off the stick of Tardif. Goes deep into the Steelhead zone. Matt Register has a kind of deceptive speed for his size. Gets over to Nick Canati. Canati feeds it to the right side as the Steelheads now cross center ice. Idaho enters from the right side. Grizzlies got back defensively. Right point, shot saved by Parik, and he'll hold on as he kind of tripped Victor Bartley, who is nearby, as Parik has looked sharp here so far.
I'm going to say Becker's the one that caused Victor Bartley to fall down there, but an excellent save by Parik there. And, you know, one of the things, that's a really interesting situation there. He is usually very clean. He takes a lot of pride in rebound control and puck control. Does a great job on a very tricky shot to hop on it and make sure there was no second chance opportunity. 2:48 to go in the first. No score between Idaho and the Utah Grizzlies.
Zach Sekos to take the face-off against A.J. White. White was a member of the Grizzlies in the 2020-21 season, a year Idaho didn't participate in. Grizzlies win the draw, is right up ahead. It kicks off of Spanenberg's, and he'll feed it towards the center ice logo. Utah gets it back near their bench as Keaton Jamison gets over to Bartley. He'll feed it to the captain, and Connor will get it out and it hits off a stick and stays in play. Sekos nudges it to center ice. A.J. White picks it off. White, right side, rolls it around the boards. Parik cuts it off behind his net. 2:20 left in the first as McDonald gets over to Bartley, but he couldn't handle it. Spanenberg's over to the left side for Cudler. Back over to Spanenberg's. He'll feed it to Heiskanen. Cody's his first name. He's got an ECHL contract, played at Cornell for 4 years. As along the right wing boards, Idaho tries to get it to the point, and it's over the head of A.J. White and goes to center ice.
Excellent clearance by Cam Wright. Again, those little battles on the board are so critical.
Cudler gets it out to center ice. Demowski couldn't dump it in as it hit off the linesman. Fitz will dump it in. The linesman just about the same every year. Scott DeBaugh and Eric Landquist as the Steelheads skate from right to left. As Register feeds it ahead. It bounced off the stick of Bice. Rolls in deep as Shearer skates around his net. He'll feed it ahead. Went to the right side towards Idaho. Still has glance into the left corner. Domowski with a sharp angled shot. Parikh makes a save as he closed out the front side. And the puck ends up in the right point. Bouncing off of Raby. Now Fitz up ahead. Trying to get Raby on the Utah blue line. Register picked it off. Steelheads dump it back in as Shearer with a little bit more than 1 minute left in the period. Raby dumps it to center ice, trying to get around near him. But the Steelheads get it back at center and dump it back in. As the Grizzlies start the attack again, James Shearer skates down the middle, neutral ice. Now he veers off to the left. He crosses center ice, gains the blue line, spins it back around. Becker cuts in front of Fitz and will roll it back behind the Idaho net. As we got less than 1 minute left in the first period of a pretty well-played game. Idaho 2-on-2, steps over the offensive line, drops it off for Walker. He'll take a shot on it, gets blocked. As the Grizzlies get back defensively. Now Becker skates to the side. He'll take a shot on it, glances off of Parikh's glove, rolls back to the right side. Idaho has another shot that gets blocked. Now he rolls up ahead to Hedrick. He'll feed to the right side. They try to get it back to Hedrick, and Raby picks it off. Dylan Fitz will dump it towards Schill as the Grizzlies make a line change. Idaho with an outlet. As it goes to the right side, Keller with a shot. Saved by Parikh as it bounced off his glove, and Utah gets the rebound. Pfizer ahead to center ice. It goes past Tardif, and it gets to the right side. Tardif and Cutler each have great speed. As Pfizer, late in the first period, centers it. Nielsen with a shot, saved by Schill. As the Grizzlies get it up top for Nielsen. Right side fakes a shot. I tried to feed it out in front for Tardif, who tried to spin on a one-timer. Now Idaho carries it out to center ice. 2 seconds left. They'll dump it in, and that will do it for the first period. As Grizzlies had a couple good looks there, and after the whistle, Andrew Nielsen a little bit disappointed with Jonas Vandenbergs, as Nielsen and Vandenbergs exchange a couple words. Luckily, it looks like there's going to be no penalties out of it, because if there would, it probably would have been Nielsen. And boy, the Grizzlies had some good looks there in the final minute, trying to find a way to take a lead, but we're scoreless after 1.
Boy, and a big shot advantage in the second half of that period for the Idaho Steelheads, as they now lead 12-7 after a scoreless first period, and just really solid hockey played by both sides there. And you know, Tyson, we talked about it in the pregame. The keys to victory tonight were going to be controlling the neutral zone. I feel like the Grizzlies did a pretty good job of that. And getting pucks to the net, you'd like to see more shots in. Sometimes you just got to throw that puck to the net and good things will happen. With the struggles we see a lot of times in this league for goaltenders and rebound controls, I don't know that it's ever the wrong answer to pass that puck off of the goaltender's pads and hope for the best on the rebound. But I thought this was a really solid period of hockey for the Grizzlies.
I think an important thing coming into this game was defensive discipline, and I think the Grizzlies are pretty good in that respect, and I think Idaho was good in that respect as well. And when you combine both teams with good goaltenders, Adam Schill with an NHL contract with the Dallas Stars, and Parikh, the former third-round pick of the LA Kings, you know, you're going to get a scoreless game, and it could be one of those nights where goals are at a premium. It could be one of those games where, hey, first goal might end up deciding this thing.
You know, but the one thing that gives you a lot of encouragement if you're a Grizzlies fan tonight, pretty much the speed that you're seeing. I think Taryn Pfizer's look really good. I don't think there's any doubt that Brandon Cutler has fit in really nice on that top line. He and Taryn Pfizer clearly have chemistry, and you love to see that. The Grizzlies need to continue to use that speed to gain an advantage. And Tyson, if they do that, I think you're absolutely going to see that they are going to continue to have a lot of opportunities to score the puck as you look at a very full Idaho Central Arena, where after one period of play, we are scoreless on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
First intermission here in Boise at the Idaho Central Arena. No score. Idaho outshot Utah 12-7. Grizzlies had a bit of an edge there, 5-3 in the first 6 minutes of play. Idaho took a lot of shots there towards Lucas Perique, and Lucas stopped all 12 of them. For the Grizzlies, in their 7 shots, Taryn Pfizer had 2. Pfizer came into play tonight, a perfect 3 for 3 on shots. He had 1 goal on 1 shot last Friday in the season opener against Rapid City. Rush ended up winning that game. I think it was 5-3 was the final there. And then Saturday night, the Grizzlies won 3-2, and Pfizer had 2 goals on 2 shots. He's 0 for 2 so far tonight, so he is human. He is still shooting at a 60% clip, 3 goals on 5 shots. 5 other Grizzlies with 1 shot: Keaton Jamison, Dylan Fitz. Dakota Raby was outstanding defensively in the first period, and he had a breakaway and a pretty good look about 3 minutes into the game. Cam Strong and Andrew Nilsson each had 1 shot for the Grizzlies. For Idaho, it was a very balanced attack. Only 1 guy with more than 1 shot in the first period, and that was Jade Miller, number 26, who had 2 shots. Otherwise, 1 shot for 9 other, or make that 10 other Idaho players. And that's what makes Idaho such a tough team, is their balanced scoring attack, where their third line oftentimes will beat the other team's third line. And I think that's where the Grizzlies, with Penner, Fitz, and Raby, their third line can certainly match Idaho's. And they've had good goaltending either way. Power play, Idaho's 0 for 2, Utah 0 for 1. Patrick Cudler got a tripping minor, 107 in. And then while the Grizzlies were on the power play, Jamison got a tripping minor, 237 in. Victor Bartley got a cross-checking minor, 13:51 into the first. And the Grizzlies did a pretty good job on the penalty kill. Matt Register certainly is pretty tough up top, quarterbacking Idaho's power play, and A.J. White out in front of the net. And they've got a lot of good weapons on the outside, so good job by the Grizzlies' penalty kill in the first period. Let's get to some other scores from around the league on a busy Friday night. The Iowa Heartlanders, for the 3rd straight game, allow 6 goals. They lose to Kalamazoo 6-3 as Iowa goes to 0-3 on the season. Kalamazoo gets their first win of the year. They are now 1-2. Newfoundland over the Trois Rivières Lions, 6-3 the final there. Remember, the Lions will be at Maverick Center on Thanksgiving week for a 3-game set. South Carolina defeats Greenville 4-1. Norfolk over Maine 3-1. Cincinnati over Wheeling 4-0, as that one's gone final. Cincinnati with the shutout. Second intermission, Savannah and Fort Wayne are tied at 2. That game in the second intermission. Also after 2 periods, Tulsa and Wichita are tied at 3. First intermission, first intermission at the Monument. They've only played 20 minutes over there. Kansas City leads Rapid City 2-1. Let's take a look at that score, as Nick Passageov has scored for Kansas City. His brother, Michael Passageov, is a scratch for the Steelheads tonight. Looks like LeBerg has also scored for the Mavericks. We'll get used to them a lot more next week, as they will be hosting the Grizzlies for a 3-game set next Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. You can catch all 3 of those games here on Flow Sports and the Grizzlies YouTube channel for the audio stream. LeBerg actually has 1 goal and 1 assist for Kansas City. Nick Passageov is a +2, and so is James McKenna. He's a +2 for Kansas City. Dylan Kelly is in net for Kansas City. He played for Rapid City last year, and Daniil Chechelev has stopped 10 of 12 for the Rush. So Kansas City, after 1 period, leads 2-1. Let's get to some NHL scores on this Friday night. A busy night of sports. We know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. So we appreciate you choosing the Grizzlies tonight. The Grizzlies' NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, gets shut out this evening. New Jersey won, Colorado nothing in a defensive battle. Pavel Francouz stopped 22 of 23, but Vanek of New Jersey stopped them all, as he got a 24-save shutout. Devils over the Avalanche 1-0 in a rematch of the 2001 Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas shuts out Anaheim 4-0 in an afternoon game. Islanders over the Hurricanes 6-2. Bruins shut out the Blue Jackets 4-0. Starting up in about 10 minutes, Penguins and the Vancouver Canucks. At 8:30, the Winnipeg Jets are at the Arizona Coyotes. That is going to be played at Mullet Arena in Arizona. It'll be interesting to see the atmosphere there, in an arena that holds about the same amount as this one does, about 5,000, maybe about 51 or 5,200. So it'll be interesting to see how home games look over at the Arizona State Sun Devil campus. In college football, just starting the second half, East Carolina and BYU are tied at 17. And BYU, they're nursing, a 3-game losing streak now. They are 4-4 on the season as they've lost to Notre Dame, Arkansas, and Liberty. Last week, Liberty beat them 41-14. That game tied at 17, just starting out the second half. Jaron Hall, 7 of 12 passing for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. Lapini Katoa, the high man on the ground for BYU, 11 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua has 4 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. Reception from Jaron Hall for BYU. That game just starting out the second half, tied at 17 over in Provo. We're here at Idaho Central Arena as the Steelheads and Grizzlies are scoreless. Idaho outshot Utah 12-7. And Monty, I thought it was a pretty good first period in terms of active sticks by the Grizzlies. Idaho often was in the corner looking for that centering pass, and it seemed like time and time again the Grizzlies got a stick in the way and were able to not let Idaho get those good looks.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing. And I know it may seem, like the minutia of hockey, but when you're getting sticks into what we call the passing lane, the area between two offensive players, when you're doing that, you're blocking shots. I think the play by Connor McDonald to block that shot, James Shearer delivered a hit. You're looking at a lot of sacrificing personally by our defensive guys here with the Utah Grizzlies, and it's just incredibly important because those are the things that lead to counterattacks, that lead to Dakota Raby breakaways. Those opportunities, this Utah Grizzly team is too good to continue to give them those. So it'll be interesting to see what the Idaho Steelheads do to adjust, because you cannot continue to give the Grizzlies odd man breaks, because if you're going to do that, you're going to give up goals.
Lucas Preek was solid in net. Adam Schill had to bail out his team a couple times, and I thought it was interesting to see the Grizzlies get behind the Idaho defense a couple times because the Steelheads defense is pretty disciplined. I thought one guy, even though it didn't show up on the stat sheet that was outstanding, was Dakota Raby. His speed's just a difference maker on the ice, and I thought defensively, we talked about, intercepting those centering passes. It seemed like it was Dakota Raby on multiple occasions.
Yeah, and Dakota's really, I think, earned his spot on this team. I mean, he's a scrappy player. He's never going to be the biggest player, and he and I talked about that on media day. He's never going to be the biggest player, but he's a guy who, I think when you look at the way he plays, he uses the natural ability he has to be fast and to be elusive, and those two things for a guy that plays on your third line are incredibly important. And on top of that, he's incredibly skilled, Dakota Raby is, and I think that is a critical component of his game. Anytime he is in open ice, he is very dangerous, and it's clear the Idaho Steelheads were waiting for that.
It'll be interesting to see if the Grizzlies in the second period could get out in open ice and let the speed of Ben Tardif, Brandon Cutler, and Taryn Pfizer, that forward line, if they can get a couple of those really good looks on Adam Schill. I thought it was interesting to see Brandon Cutler play center because he was mostly a wing with the Grizzlies last season, and obviously there's a natural chemistry with Taryn Pfizer, having played together in Victoria for 3 years. And I almost get that feeling that Ben Tardif is due. I don't know when, but it almost feels like a big goal is coming for Ben Tardif sometime this weekend.
Yeah, big shout out to Everett Mitchell, who's listening to the broadcast tonight. Ruane Freeman says Guy Morgan is loving it. How are you, Kerry Cutler?
I like Guy.
Yep, Guy's watching the broadcast tonight. Travis Carpenter, good to see you as well. If you're watching the show, please make sure you leave us a comment. We're happy to shout you out. We appreciate you spending your Saturday night with us tonight as we are scoreless after one period of play. And I think, this is the kind of hockey you expect from two of the very good teams in the ECHL. When you see exactly how the Steelheads and the Grizzlies go head-to-head on a regular basis, it is not a surprise at all to see that this is a very tight hockey game and to see that these two teams are so evenly matched. Tyson, I don't think it's surprising whatsoever.
It's going to be an interesting series. It seems like most of the times we play a two-game series here, it usually ends up in a split. It's almost like you almost hope that the game you lose, you force overtime and get a third standing point out of it. And so you think about this 8-game road trip, and I kind of think about that setting the tone for the rest of the year, because I think that's why the Grizzlies won the division last year, is they've won more road games than anybody else in the Mountain Division. It seems like among the top teams in the division and in this league, everybody's going to take care of home ice. You're going to see a lot of teams anywhere between 20 and 25 home wins. Can you win on the road? That's going to make the difference between a good team and a great team.
Well, and I think as we talked about at the top of the broadcast tonight, Idaho went to Iowa and dominated. And the Grizzlies had a hard-fought, 2-game set with Rapid City at the Maverick Center. And I think when you look at where, you're going now, I mean, you're going to Kansas City, and think about the schedule for the Grizzlies that's coming up. I mean, you're looking at a Utah Grizzlies team that's going to be home on Sunday, and then they're going to take off on Monday for Kansas City, and they're going to be there the better part of a week before they head to Allen. I mean, we're going to find out what the mettle of this Utah Grizzlies team is on the road the next 2 weeks, because don't forget, Grizzly fans, by the time you come back to the Maverick Center on November 17th, I mean, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. That's the next time you're going to see your Utah Grizzlies back at home. So it's going to be a long stretch of games on the road for the Utah Grizzlies.
Don't forget, the next time the Grizzlies will be at home will be November 17th. That's going to be a Thursday as they take on this very same Idaho Steelheads team. Don't forget, on Friday, November 18th, it's the Grizzlies' annual Pooch on the Pond, where you can sit in a special section, bring your dog to the game. We saw some dogs this week at the Grizzlies Media Day. Bryson Martin's dog and Connor McDonald's. In fact, I think Connor McDonald's dog took my baseball out of my office. I was okay with the dog getting the ball, but I was able to get the baseball back. It was scuffed up a little bit. Speaking of baseball, game 1 of the World Series, top of the 5th inning, Phillies and Astros are tied at 5. Both teams have 5 runs on 6 hits. The Astros scored 2 runs in the second and 2 more in the bottom of the third, and the Phillies answered with 3 in the top of the 4th and 2 in the top of the 5th. Looks like the top of the 5th still going on. Tied at 5, game 1 of the World Series. And next time I see Connor McDonald's dog, I'm going to make sure that I hand him the baseball and say, this one's yours. And it can be his chew toy. We'll come back.
Let's make sure you pick that chew toy, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be one of my better baseballs. It's going to be one that's got a few scuff marks on it already. We'll come back in a couple minutes and have second period action as we're scoreless. Still looking for that first goal here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Siegfried and Jensen. That's the intermission report presented by Siegfried and Jensen on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Now we're about to set to start second period action here in about 3 minutes. Here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, Flow Sports for all 72 games for the video stream, and YouTube with kind of a unique setup. We're the only team in the league, and hopefully it'll be a trendsetter. And speaking of YouTube, Monty, how'd your shows go? I think the first week that you were at Maverick Center.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. For those of you who don't know, we were able to partner with the Grizzlies and build a broadcast studio up on the main concourse right there by the team shop. So make sure once you're done making your purchases at the team shop, and you should absolutely go in. Those folks have worked so hard to set up that team shop, and the merchandise selection there is just spectacular, from hats, jerseys, obviously sweatshirts, you name it, they've got it at the Utah Grizzlies team store. But absolutely come by and say hello at all of the home games. We do the pre and post game show from the studio right there on the concourse, so make sure you come by and say hello. We'd love to see you, all of our great Utah Grizzlies fans, so don't hesitate to come by. But yeah, first week was fantastic. The Maverick Center is just such a great building, and the people who make that building tick, the Ekrams and the Ikrams of the world, they work really hard. They've helped us so much, and all of our friends at the Grizzlies. It's just been a great partnership. So it's great to be in the building every morning. Make sure you find us on Twitter, The Monty Show, MONTY. The Monty Show is where you find us on Twitter. You can catch the show every morning, 6 to 9, live at the Maverick Center. But the boys are back on the ice as we get ready for period number 2. Now, don't forget, in period number 2, it's the long change, which means you're defending further away from your bench. So you got to stay out of the penalty box, and you've got to make sure that you're very deliberate on your line changes. That is critically important to the success of a hockey team in the second period. And I think, Tyson, this is going to be a hard-fought, very close second period. And we've seen this season the trend that whoever wins the second period really is in the driver's seat in these games early on. I think that's going to be a big one tonight, and it's by no coincidence, by the way, that you see that the Zekos line is going to be out here for Ryan Kanasowicz and the Utah Grizzlies. You're going to have Cam Wright out there on the ice with Zach Sekos. I think also, by the way, James Shearer has had a really good start to this game. I think he's a name that you can listen for Tyson to call on a regular basis. But this Sekos, Wright, Jamison line, I think, has been excellent tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how Clerman and Shearer team with them to get this period started.
Well, how critical is the second period going to be for the Grizzlies? After all, last year they only lost one game when leading after two, and the Grizzlies last season, they were a plus 29 in the goal differential in the second period, and in the season opener last Friday, the Grizzlies outscored the Rush 3-0 and overcame a 3-0 deficit to come back into the game in Rapid City. Obviously scored 2 goals in the third to win 5-3 as the Grizzlies are 1-1 on the season. It's their first of 36 road games. For Idaho, it's their home opener. They won 2 games in Iowa last weekend, scoring 6 goals in each of the contests. We'll see which team blinks first here as Sekos will take the face-off against A.J. White. Grizzlies are going to be skating from right to left here in the second period as we see it from high atop section about 203 as we got 204 over to our left as the draw won by Idaho as Register gets over to Hedrick, who was active in the first period. Now up ahead, A.J. White to the right side, steps to the circle, take a shot. Oh, and he didn't miss it by much as it goes a little bit wide of Lucas Preek, stick side, as the Steelheads to the left side. Skate back towards the point. Rolls back to Nate Clerman as the Steelheads spun it around the boards. Jamison off the wall to Sekos, right side. Sekos dumps it in. Cameron Wright trying to get around Hedrick. Wright and Hedrick collide behind the goal line towards the end boards. Register flips it over to the left corner. Idaho runs it down. Steelheads get it out to center ice. Clerman battling with Kawaguchi. Clerman wins that battle as Kawaguchi comes off the ice. Both teams make their first line change of the second period. Right at neutral ice, centers it to Cutler. He'll skate in as he was looking for Victor Bartley on the left side, and Jade Miller poked it away. Right up ahead to Bartley. He'll get it to Cutler near the Grizzlies bench. Cutler from the left side. He's near the boards. He looks to center it. Kicks off the Steelhead as rolls back to Cutler as Brandon skates towards left corner. He'll take a shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Jade Miller, and he'll carry it out to center ice, and he'll throw it to the right side as Grizzlies up with it as the fans take up a Let's Go Steelheads chant as Ben Tardif skates to the left side. He'll fly from blue line to blue line. Now he's in the zone. Skates to the goal line. High tries to feed Cutler out in front. Idaho pokes it away. Cutler in the point. And it goes to center ice. And back to Nilsson as he'll peel back into his own zone. He'll feed it to center ice for Tardif. Now ahead to Pfizer, right side with the breakaway. Pfizer with the backhand shot, he scores! Taryn Pfizer from about the offensive blue line had a breakaway, made a nice move on Adam Shield. It's his 4th of the season, and the Grizzlies have taken a 1-0 lead.
Unbelievable finish on the 1-2 forehand, backhand flip by Taryn Pfizer, and one of your guys you talked about tonight, the soothsayer known as Tyson Whiting. Taryn Pfizer usually doesn't miss when he shoots. He didn't miss there. A beautiful backhand goal scored there by Taryn Pfizer. He continues to light the lamp for the Utah Grizzlies.
He was just open from the right side and pretty much had a breakaway, made a nice move. I think he made a similar move in last weekend's homestand as Dakota Raby to the right side. Grizzlies are buzzing. They lead 1-0. Raby over to the right side, fits with a shot, and that gets blocked. Puck ends up in the left circle as Idaho nudges it ahead. It goes out to center ice. Penner gets it back as he'll backing out into his own zone as Bryson Martin ahead to Raby. Crosses center ice right side. Raby gets it poked away. Grizzlies back defensively. 3-on-4. Idaho steps in. They tried to feed Keller out in front. And Bryson Martin and Andrew Nilsson get in the way as the Grizzlies back out to center ice for Fitz. He'll feed it across to Bryson Martin. Martin stops on the right side. Trying to get it to Raby out in front. Pass didn't connect. Now to the left side. Nilsson with a blast, and Schill makes the save.
Boy, this has been a great start to the second period for your Utah Grizzlies. And again, it's the same names over and over again. That top line where you have Cutler stepping in. You have Cutler, Tardif, and Taryn Pfizer. So much speed, so much skill. Eventually, if you give them too much time and space, they're going to score, and that's why the Utah Grizzlies have a 1-0 lead.
Sekos to take the face off on the left side. 17:40s left in the second. Still has about shot the Grizzlies 12-7, but the Grizzlies do have the first 4 shots of this second period as the puck goes out to neutral ice. Clerman up ahead, it glanced off a couple sticks. Rolls towards Cody Heiskanen. As Heiskanen has the puck on the near side. Steelheads skating from left to right. They'll feed it out to center ice. Steelheads from the left side dump it in. As Justin Misiak over there Grizzlies roll it back around. It goes past Heiskanen and into the Steelhead zone.
Great job avoiding the icing there. Gives you a little chance to take a breath.
Heiskanen gets over to Register. He's on the far side. He feeds it back to Heiskanen. He'll get it to center ice. It kicked off a skate towards the Steelheads bench. Jade Miller dumps it in. He played for South Carolina last year. Klerman gets it off the bounce of the boards as Nate stations himself behind Lucas Preek. Now Nate's in front of Preek. Skates down the middle. He'll throw a left wing pass that was behind Sekos. And pucking it up at center ice. I think Idaho might have been caught with too many men.
Oh boy, this is a big deal. Is that Kanani going to go serve it?
That was kind of odd. The pass was out to center ice, and Idaho did what they thought was the right thing in playing the puck, but their guy hadn't come off the ice, and I think it was Kanani that hadn't gotten off yet, and Idaho touched it up, and the linesman was right there, and the referee, and they spotted it and made the call.
And a lot of that is luck. If that puck doesn't hit somebody, if it doesn't wind up in that particular spot, but there's so many times in a game where you have too many guys, and then it just, one time you wind up getting caught.
Draw one by Brandon Cutler as Utah leads 1-0. They're on the power play. 2 minutes for too many men on the ice. Nielsen, he'll take a shot. Saved by Shield. Oh, Fitz was looking for the rebound, but it goes to the right corner as Idaho lifts it high into the air over Nielsen. And the bouncing puck into Grizzlies territory. Nielsen runs after it, and he'll feed it over to Ben Tardif as Grizzlies start the attack 20 seconds into the power play as Brandon Cutler gets it poked away by Keller. Keller, right point, will dump it in from just outside the Utah blue line as Preek will give it to Pfizer. Terran's got 4 goals here so far early in the season, including 1 here tonight. Pfizer drops it back off for Tardif. Ben crosses center ice right side, gets around a skater as he'll dump it into the right corner as Tardif collides with Kudla. Utah behind the net, goes past Cutler, and Idaho's in control. As the Steelheads clear it out, it goes past Terran Pfizer as it goes deep to Lucas Preek. Grizzlies make a line change, and so too the Steelheads. Halfway through the Grizzlies' power play, Utah is 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Idaho 0 for 2. As Victor Bartley skates towards his left, drops it off for Bryson Martin, who crosses center ice. Martin to the right side, and it gets poked away, and Idaho clears it out again.
You just haven't gotten that set up yet as you're now about 40 seconds to go in this power play. You'd really like to see yourself get established in the zone as Bartley continues to quarterback it.
Bartley skating towards his left. He's being shadowed by Zach Walker. Grizzlies get it off the boards near the Steelheads bench. Now Bryson Martin to the left side. Steps over the offensive line, rolls it around as it goes back to Bartley. Big collision along the far wall as Bartley, he'll feed it over to Cameron Wright. Wright tried to get it back to Bartley. It stayed towards his ankles. Now Matt Register with his long stick. Oh, I tried to clear it out. Bartley kept it in right side. Oh, Bartley feeds it out in front. Jamison has a redirect off his stick, and it goes out of play as there's a great idea there. Why Jamison didn't miss that one by much as it glanced off his stick and ended up out of play.
Now and again, Zach Walker with some good physical play there for the Idaho Steelheads to try and kill this penalty. But that's that poise and experience that we talk about with Victor Bartley. Keep that puck in, get it to the front of the net. Good things happen when Victor Bartley's on the ice.
Grizzlies 3 forwards and 2 defensemen on the ice now as we're late in the power play. Idaho wins the draw, and Owen Hedrick, who's been impressive tonight, throws it out to center ice. It kicked off the stick of Martin as the puck is deep in the Grizzlies zone. Bartley in the right side. He'll nudge it ahead as the Steelheads are back at full strength. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play. Sekos up ahead to Cameron Wright deep in the Steelhead zone. Left corner. Sekos Wright rolls it around to Jamison. He tries to feed Wright out in front. Glanced off his stick, and Shield's able to cover up as Wright was looking for a redirection from Jamison.
Well, that was a really, really good answer as the Steelheads sprung their man out of the box. That was a really good way to get a face-off, and now, you know, you force Shield to freeze the puck in his own end, and now you bring out that grinder line, and it'll be interesting to see Johnny Walker here, along with Tyler Penner, Cam Strong, Shearer, and Klerman.
Grizzlies lead 1-0. Terran Pfizer scored 136, and Tardif got an assist, and I think they should also add an assist to Andrew Nilsson, who made the first of 2 passes. Grizzlies win the draw. Shearer gets it over to Klerman. Slot shot that gets blocked. Idaho in the transition game. 3-on-3 crosses center ice. Misiak to the right side. Gets poked away by Shearer as it rolls deep into the Grizzlies zone off the end boards. Now to the slot. Backhand shot saved by Preek as the puck ended up squirting out in front and looked like Willie Nierum had a backhand shot, but Lucas was able to make the save cleanly. And the Steelheads will have an offensive zone draw with 14:20 left in the second.
I'll tell you, that Ben Tardif pass to spring Taryn Pfizer was a thing of beauty. You're starting to see that chemistry develop on that line, and we talked about, hey, you know, is Ben Tardif going to get a goal? He doesn't need a goal with Taryn Pfizer. If you can make that diagonal pass to spring Taryn, that's great.
Idaho wins the draw. Register, shot saved by Preek as Register was over on the left side. He's got a lot of velocity on a wrist shot, but Preek was able to make the save.
Yeah, and I think going back to that goal, it was just such a beautiful finish by Taryn Pfizer. But again, it is that pass that just makes all the difference in the world. It is that professionalism, that ice vision from Ben Tardif. What a play.
Face off in the left circle is won by Utah. Grizzlies skate from right to left as Cam Strong in the area nudges towards center ice. Penner dumps it in, but Idaho's Owen Hedrick picks it off. Steelheads get it across the offensive line as they drop it off for Spandenberg's. Eye looks to center, but the only guy home is Nate Klerman. Problem is he plays for the Grizzlies. So he'll get it over to Cam Strong along the near wall. Now Cutler feeds it across to Pfizer. Taryn crosses center ice. Now he skates over the blue line. He'll get it to Cutler. He'll take a shot on a glance off a stick. Goes to the corner. Cutler has it. He wears number 40. Last year's number 29. Idaho pokes it back towards the Grizzlies zone as Ben Tardif runs after it. He'll stop at his goal line. He'll feed it ahead to Victor Bartley. He gets it back to Tardif on a give and go, but A.J. White took it away. White towards Keller. Slot shot. Saved by Preek. Rebound shot. Saved by Preek. Puck still in play. Demowski, who had the second look. He's on the left side. He'll feed it across, but nobody was home for Idaho. Ben Tardif gets it. He'll throw it to center ice for Bartley. Glanced off his stick. Demowski up ahead, left wing pass. Now Idaho tried to get it to Cutler, to Keller, cutting and cross. And Cutler was able to pick it off and dump it in all the way to the Steelhead zone. Heiskanen skates down the middle, crosses center ice. He'll throw a left wing pass off the boards. Demowski with a shot, and it goes just wide on a one-time attempt. Idaho gets it up to the right point, but Kudla couldn't keep it in. Now the Grizzlies looking to take it away as the puck is at the Grizzlies' blue line, but Kudla will take it from Ben Tardif at the end of Tardif's shift. Pass ahead to Keller, 1-on-4. He'll cross over to the left circle. He'll take a shot. Saved by Preek. And Lucas holds on.
That athleticism we talked about, that two save sequence for Lucas Parikh was a thing of beauty. But your Utah Grizzlies lead the Idaho Steelheads thanks to Taryn Pfizer's fourth goal of the season. It's 1-0 with 12:39 to go in the first on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Nothing Grizzlies as Taryn Pfizer scored 1:36 in. Ben Tardif and I think Andrew Nilsson should get an assist, but right now it's just Tardif with the lone assist as Nilsson was in his own zone, threw it to center ice, just tapped off of Tardif's stick and then went to the right side and Pfizer gathered it and there was nobody home for Idaho, so it was just a breakaway from the right side on in. He skated towards his left and made a nice backhand move, and that's really the difference in the game right now. And you talk about Taryn Pfizer, third straight game with a goal. He's got 4 goals on 6 shots this season.
Yeah, and I tell you, again, not to make too much of it, Lucas Parikh is turning into a star. I mean, if these 3 starts are any indication, he's going to have a fantastic year.
As the draw won by Utah, they're in the defensive zone as Bryson Martin will get it to Sekos. Zach will flip it high into the air, bouncing puck into the Steelhead zone. Owen Hedrick's been one of their best defensemen so far. He'll get it to Nick Canadi. Canadi to the right side, gets it to Becker near the boards. Becker from the right side dumps it in. Preek behind his net will get it over to Bryson Martin. He'll nudge it ahead. Play starting to get physical here at Idaho Central Arena as right at center ice gets pinned to the boards by Jack Becker. Idaho skates in. Walker trips over the blue line as Canadi. And now to the right side. And Idaho with a shot saved by Preek. That was taken by Jade Miller, number 26. The Grizzlies will bounce it off the near boards. Is it going to be icing? It is, as Keaton Jamison was hoping that Cameron Wright would win a foot race, but it looks like the draw is going to come back to the Grizzlies zone with an even 12 minutes left in the second period.
Yeah, you'd really like to see Cameron Wright do a lot better with that puck. You know, you're on the half wall there. You really got to make sure that that puck gets over the red line and then behind the Idaho goal. It didn't happen, and it wound up in an opportunity for the Steelheads.
Draws in the left circle. Idaho 18 shots, Utah's 13. First of a 2-game set. As the draw won by Utah, Grizzlies will dump it into the Steelhead zone. Not enough steam for icing, so Utah will get a few fresh skaters on the ice. Haskinen over to Matt Register. Skates down the middle. Now a feed a left wing pass. The Steelheads dumping in from just outside their offensive blue line. Grizzlies come back the other way. As Fitz ahead to Raby. Raby skates towards his left. He'll step over the line. Now he's in the left circle. Raby around the net. He'll skate towards the right side. He gets it poked away by Register. Now Fitz joins the play. Spins it back to the left point for Shearer. He'll get it to the corner for Penner. Tyler spins it back along the far wing boards. Klerman over to Raby. Dakota now on the right point. Fanned on a pass. A.J. White at center ice. 2-on-2. White gets it towards the logo. Haskinen dumps it into the right side. Delayed offside, so Idaho lets Utah touch it. Shearer gets it across to Klerman. Nate with a blue line to blue line pass to Dylan Fitz. Glances off of his stick and flies deep into the Steelhead zone. As Penner behind the net, tried to get it to Raby, but Penner keeps it. Now it rolls towards the near wing boards, and Idaho gathers it. Ty Pelton-Bice played for Newfoundland last year. He'll step into the right side. Tries to center it, and Dakota Raby once again picks it off. He's done that time and time again tonight. As he'll feed it to the left corner, Grizzlies Klerman over to Fitz. It glanced off his stick. Idaho has it. Owen Hedrick skates in from the right side. Over towards the circle. Take a shot. On it, glances off a Shearer stick and flies out of play into the upper deck.
Well, again, you're seeing really good defensive hockey from the Grizzlies forwards. That's critical. And I think it's something that Ryan Kanasowicz and this whole team, Jared Pike, the assistant coach, all the way up to the forwards, the defensive capabilities of the forwards for the Utah Grizzlies is something they take great pride in. I think you saw it right there by Dakota Raby.
Draws game in the right circle of the Grizzlies zone. And it's won by Utah. Grizzlies have done a good job on the circle tonight. Tardif to the right side for Pfizer. He steps over the line, gets to Cutler on the right side. Backhand shot goes wide. Cutler trying to run after it in the left corner. Idaho cuts in front of him. Pelton-Bice. Turnover is Cutler on the left side. Gets it across to Pfizer. Glanced off his skate and goes to the corner. Pfizer gets spun around by Cudler but keeps his feet. Pfizer to the right point. McDonald with a shot. Saved by Schill in the butterfly position. Utah takes it away. Pfizer gets over towards Tardif on the right side. He tried to get to McDonald. Idaho took it away. Keller across the center ice. Dumps it in. As the Steelheads make a line change, Keller chases after it. The other 4 for Idaho come off the ice. Utah nudges ahead towards Cutler. I keep thinking about Nilsson because he wore 40 last year or 2 years ago with Yuri Terreo and Caleb Herbert and the other number 40s. Right point, Hedrick with a shot. And that one's blocked by McDonald about 5 feet in front of Parikh. Connor will bounce it off the boards. Now Ben Tardif steps over the offensive line. Matt Register took it away. He's a strong defenseman. Might be a future Hall of Famer in this league. Tardif feeds it across for Sekos, but the Grizzlies are offside as Pfizer is trying to hold the blue line, but nevertheless, offside's called. 9:32 left in the second. Grizzlies are up 1-0. This is Utah Grizzlies Hockey presented by Rio Tinto.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
We're halfway through the scheduled 60 minutes. It's been a good defensive battle. Dakota Raby picking off centering pass after centering pass, and the Grizzlies are really doing a good job defensively, playing a disciplined style. The deciding factor in the game is Terran Pfizer, who scored 136 in on a really nice backhand move. Ben Tardif got an assist, and Andrew Nilsson probably should get an assist, but doesn't as of right now. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play, and Idaho, they outshot the Grizzlies 12-7 in the first. Utah so far in the second has outshot Idaho 7-6.
Boy, and the only thing that you could really want to clean up here is getting through the neutral zone with a little more, a little more consistency. There's a lot of battling and stick play in the neutral zone. The Grizzlies want to play fast. They want to go blue line to blue line in a hurry. That's slowed down a little bit here. Where did the goal come from? A long pass, really from his own defensive end to Pfizer at their blue line. Want to see more of that.
Draw at neutral ice, won by the Grizzlies. They step in, but Pelton-Bice with a good back check. Utah pokes it back away as Sekos in the right corner. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Skeet behind the goal line, try to nudge it ahead. Sekos has it kicked back to the corner. Sekos battling Cameron Wright and Keaton Jamison out there as well. Up ahead to the right point. Martin swung and missed as he was looking for either a centering pass or a shot as Matt Register will feed it ahead. It glanced off the backside of A.J. White. The Steelheads will back it out into their own zone. Idaho will feed it out to the right side for A.J. White. He steps over the offensive line. Good poke check by Andrew Nilsson. He's played a good game. Ahead to Cameron Wright, right side. He'll feed it out to Penner at the Grizzlies offensive line. Penner will dump it in. Shield behind his net. As big hit delivered behind the net by Cameron Wright. As the puck is at neutral ice. Penner gets it. He'll back it out into his own zone with a pass to Shearer. James gets it across to Clermont. Nate skates towards his left. Will stop near the corner as the Steelheads make a line change as Nate now skates down the middle. He'll veer off to the left as he crosses center ice. Nate gains the line onside over to Raby. Raby looks to center it out in front. Idaho picks it off. We talked about the forwards coming in, but the defensive units of both sides have been on point. Idaho's Jack Becker steps over the offensive line, gets it to Kanadi. He's got room on the left side. He'll take a shot. Glove saved by Parikh.
Well, and you know, one of the things to keep an eye on as this game goes on, it's a full house tonight here at Idaho Central Arena. Right around 5,000 fans in the building. It's a little warmer tonight. You're seeing a lot of odd bounces. You're seeing a lot of pucks that are just stopping their momentum. The puck's moving and then it stops. So you see a lot of guys swing and miss, and you don't typically see that. And I think what you're seeing is the building's a little warmer. The ice is not as hard as you would like it to be, Tyson, and I think it's absolutely affecting the gameplay right now.
This might be a two-shirt game for me. I'm already sweating through the first one. As the Grizzlies win the faceoff, Bartley ahead, but it's cut off at the right point by Nick Kanadi. He'll take a lefty shot. Oh, there was traffic out in front, but Parikh somehow was able to make the save. A.J. White, as usual, was net front, battling with Connor McDonald.
20 shots, 20 saves for Lucas Parikh, and again, I'll just say, I don't know that there's been a more impressive performance by a Utah Grizzly this season than Lucas Parikh between the pipes. Again tonight, he has been rock solid. He may well be earning that #1 job amongst a very talented, very crowded goaltender room. He may be earning the #1 spot here.
Trent Miner's the backup tonight. Garrett Metcalf was sitting up here. I don't know if he did something, Monty, but he decided to go watch a game somewhere else. Left point shot, and that's blocked in front of Parikh. Grizzlies Ben Tardif up ahead to Pfizer. Pfizer gets it on the right side. He skates to the circle, take a shot. Oh, and he goes wide. He didn't miss it by much. Tardif over to the corner as it rolls around the boards. Pfizer battling. Heiskanen boxes him out. Good job by Heiskanen making sure he got position with the puck, boxing out Pfizer. As the Steelheads feed it back over as it's now behind their net. Heiskanen, who's a big defenseman, 6'4", 205 pounds. As Brandon Cutler comes off the ice, so does Pfizer. As Wright is out there along with Sekos and Tardif as the Steelheads still behind their own net. As Utah leads 1-0. 7.5 minutes left in the second. Now the Idaho starts the attack. Heiskanen skates out to neutralize. Pass up ahead. It deflects off of Jack Becker's stick. Deep into the Grizzlies zone. Parikh plays it to the side of his net. Utah with the pass. It connects. Sekos to the right side. We'll take a shot. Saved by Shield. And the rebound goes to Idaho as Sekos tried to go low on a breakaway attempt. Wright gets hit pretty hard. And Utah wants to go after Willie Niram. A Grizzly got hit up high. That got the whistle to blow. I think Idaho's going to get a penalty. A Grizzly is still down.
That's Cameron Wright, who got hit right in the head with a shoulder. Oh, this is an ugly, ugly hit.
I wonder if that's going to be more than 2 minutes. And that doesn't look like there was anything after that warranted a penalty. But
oh, wow.
You talk about Cameron Wright, who took a lot of shots last Saturday.
Gosh.
And that was Willie Niram. Niram, we'll see if it's 2 minutes or if it's going to be more than that.
That was an ugly, ugly hit. That should be a major penalty.
The Idaho fans, and obviously they're a little biased, but even they went, ooh.
Yeah, you cannot make forcible contact to the head.
I think the referee and linesman are talking it over right now, seeing if it should be 2 or if it should be more than that. As Wright gets that back to his feet, but
wow.
Boy, he looks like he's trying to get his bearings, his faculties.
Collins
he
out
skates
there
off
with
the ice. Colin Lee, the Grizzlies trainer, and Cameron Wright looks like he's going to walk towards the locker room.
Yeah, that's a major penalty. He will be done for the rest of the period.
It looks like he was initially in the penalty box. Now he's going to the dressing room. 5 minutes are on the board.
Wow.
Here on the scoreboard, 6:59 left in the second.
Oh, yeah, that's just a forearm. That is just a shoulder to the face. That is an absolutely illegal hit.
That might end up being we might not see Willie Niram tomorrow.
Yeah, that is an excellent job by the officiating crew. And the one thing, I know that officials get criticized all the time. This is excellent officiating because they took their time. They got together. The referee asked the linesman, hey, what did you see? Here's what I saw. They got the call right because that was absolutely an illegal hit. So you got to understand that this is a very fast, physical game, and it's very difficult to officiate. I think, Tyson, they did an excellent job right there.
5 minutes is the call, and this is a critical sequence in the game as Utah's up 1-0. 6:59 left. Brandon Cutler talking things over with Andrew Nilsson. Cutler's going to take the face-off. He's got Tardif to his left and Fitz to his right. Watch out for Fitz in front of the net. And looks like representing
Kawaguchi's going to go to the box.
Kawaguchi's going to the box. It might be Ryan Kanasowicz that gets to choose because obviously Everett Sheen wouldn't put a forward that talented in the box.
And look who's out on the point, Taryn Pfizer.
Watch out for him on the right side as a draw won by Utah. Nilsson on the left side gets over to Tardif. Tardif over to Nilsson, who fakes a one-timer, gets to the right side. Cutler with a shot that gets blocked as Cutler has it towards him. He's on two knees right now. And the Steelheads come out of the pile with the puck as Register will feed it over to the far side, and Owen Hedrick will sail it down the other end.
Excellent anticipation by Andrew Nilsson. He goes and picks off the pass, gives the Utah Grizzlies a chance to set it up, and here they come.
Nilsson gets to center ice for Pfizer. He gains the line from the right side, bounces off the boards, gets around White. As Pfizer around to Nilsson. Andrew trying to get it back to Pfizer on the right side off the boards, picked off by Register. He tried to clear it out, and Pfizer kept it in the right point. Now it goes to the corner. Owen Hedrick runs it down, and he'll nudge it to center ice for A.J. White. White crosses center ice and dumps it in, but obviously being shorthanded, he didn't have to get to center ice, but I guess old habits are hard to break.
Yeah, boy, aren't you surprised? Register kind of lackadaisically tried to clear that puck. It almost bit him. Oh, and there's going to be a penalty now.
Grizzlies were trying to skate out of their zone. Dakota Raby and Zach Walker. Looked like Raby was trying to throw kind of a basketball screen on Walker. Walker got tripped up, and Raby goes to the box, and it's kind of interesting when you get a major like that.
It's interference.
Always seems like it ends up following up with a penalty on the team that's got that major power play.
But I'll tell you, whatever we say about Zach Walker, that's an experienced veteran defenseman who did a great job drawing a penalty, because that's not interference, but it looks like interference. And anytime you're an official, perception is absolutely reality. And now you're 4-on-4 because Dakota Raby's sitting in the penalty box.
Raby gets 2 minutes. There was an even 4 minutes left in the major, so the Grizzlies, even after this, can get a 2-minute power play. As off the draw, Idaho wins it. As it goes to the right side and bounces off the boards. Heiskanen gets it over there. Victor Bartley throws it to the corner, picked off by Domowski. Domowski around the net, skates to the right side as he's being shadowed by Bartley. Domowski skates towards the right point, gets to Heiskanen. He tries to feed the left circle, and the only guy there was a Grizzly. Utah head to the right side. Sekos will drop it off. Grizzlies skate in, but they're offside. As that was a close one, but the linesmen in Idaho do call the offsides pretty closely. When in doubt, they're going to blow the whistle. I've noticed that over the years.
I think he was offside. The problem was that the puck got lost in the feet of the Utah Grizzly, forward there, and so it caused that awkwardness. There was no flow there, and whenever you lose your rhythm there, it's awfully difficult to carry on. 5:37 to go. We're 4-on-4, 1-0 Utah Grizzlies on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
5:37 left in the second period. We're skating 4-on-4 for the next minute and 38 seconds. Then after that, the Grizzlies will have another 2-minute power play as Idaho serving a 5-minute major. Willie Neerum not in the penalty box. He is in the locker room. And that might be one that the league looks after. He might not be playing tomorrow night here in Game 2 of the two-game set.
I mean, there just is no situation. And I don't know. I've seen the replay 4 or 5 times now. I mean, he targeted high. He went high.
If it was a college football game, he would have been tossed.
Yeah, exactly right. That would have been targeting for sure. But you just can't go headhunting at any level of hockey. You cannot go headhunting. It's just inexcusable. And you wouldn't blame the league if he took a 1-game suspension there.
Draws it neutral ice after the Grizzlies were called for offside. And the faceoff won by Utah's Connor McDonald back in his own zone as he gets hit in the corner. Victor Bartley over there as he overskated the puck. And Cameron Wright back in the game as McDonald dumps it in. Cameron Wright was the one who took that hit, but he's back in there for Utah. Probably didn't miss a scheduled shift. McDonald skates towards the slide. He'll take a righty shot on and glances off the stick of Nick Canati as Grizzlies get it back to neutralize. Good back check by Idaho. Sekos crosses the center ice logo, skates in. Sekos over to Bartley. Victor feeds it across. Now it's in the right point for McDonald. Ahead to right. He's on the right side near the boards. He'll feed it over to Penner, left side. He swung and missed, as looks like the puck has been a little bit difficult to handle here in the second period. Might be a little bit warmer ice surface, as the Steelheads want to play a patient approach here. 45 seconds left in a 4-on-4 before the Grizzlies will resume their power play for another 2 minutes. As Idaho up ahead to Jack Becker. He crosses center ice. He'll veer off to the left as he gains the line. As Becker will skate towards the corner, being shadowed by Klerman. As pass up ahead, it hits off a register. He skates in, backhand shot. Utah nudges him. Good play by Nate Klerman. As Idaho to the left side. Throws it up top for Haskin. He's got room. He'll take a shot. Saved by Preek. Rebound goes to Utah as Sekos throws it ahead to Cam Strong. Strong gains the line, left side. Left circle, take a shot. Saved by Shield. And he holds on. 10 seconds left in the 4-on-4 situation. Utah still leads 1-0.
And again, Nate Klerman is a guy that's on an upper-level contract for a reason. That guy can skate. And I think you saw it right there. I mean, that was a very close call. But again, Parikh in good position. His defenseman helped him out. And now a really big draw here as Brandon Cutler's out with Martin and Pfizer. Andrew Nielsen, big number 44, back on the blue line in this 4-on-4.
Cutler communicating with Bryson Martin as he takes the face-off. And the draw won by Cutler. Martin on the left side. He's up top. He'll skate towards his right. Martin skates towards the right point, and he'll dump into the corner. Martin gets hit pretty hard by Matt Register. He goes 6'3" and 230. Now over to Martin, slot shot. That one goes wide, is on a one-time attempt. Out of the penalty box, Dakota Raby. Grizzlies power play continues for the next minute 50. Cutler behind the goal line near the corner. He's got the puck pinned to his ankles. As two other Grizzlies and two other Steelheads hacking away. Cutler holds strong. Cody Haskinen in there as well. As Register hacking away. Register comes out of the pile with the puck. He'll skate towards the far side, and he'll lightly tap it deep in the Grizzly zone as Idaho will try to sneak in a line change.
Great job by Idaho, just wasting time. 90 seconds left on the man advantage for Utah.
Tardif skates around Parikh. Now Tardif to the left side starts the attack. Up ahead to Nilsson, but he couldn't reach it. As Hedrick will dump it in. Jade Miller runs it down in the corner. Miller being shadowed by Cutler. Miller around the net. Tries to with the wraparound, and Cutler does a good job cutting it off.
No panic out of the Grizzlies there. That was very well handled.
Nilsson gets it back deep in his own zone for Tardif. Ben skates towards his right. Now he's at neutral ice. He crosses center, tries to split a double team. Zach Walker pokes it away. Now back to Tardif. He gets tripped up as he'll dump it in. As Kudla, Patrick's his first name, he'll feed it up ahead to Zach Walker and glanced off his stick. The Grizzlies are on the power play as Bartley, 30 seconds left in the man advantage. Would have been icing in another circumstance, but them being shorthanded.
That was too many men on the ice for Idaho. But it again goes on. I think that probably happens, a dozen times a game?
Yeah, it's a tough one to officiate because you got to count players and stuff. As Grizzlies at neutral ice. Cameron Wright crosses center. Now he skates down the middle. Wright stops, feeds it to the right side. Idaho got a stick in the way. As the Steelheads 2-on-3 cross center ice, and they'll drive a shot. Parikh makes the save, drops it immediately to make sure the whistle doesn't blow. As the Steelheads are back at full strength, Utah still leads 1-0. Wright skates down the middle. He'll step over the line onside. Wright stops in the left point, tries to feed it over to the right corner. Gloved by A.J. White, bounces it off it as Bartley around the net. As we got 1:45 left in the second. As Idaho has the puck, they'll bounce it off the near glass. And it goes into the Grizzlies zone. As Idaho skates over towards the right side, looking to center it. Grizzlies poke it away. Jordan Kawaguchi, fresh out of the penalty box on the ice. A.J. White has the puck. He'll drop it off for Hedrick. He'll take a shot that gets blocked. Now White, left side, he'll fire his shot, and that one goes wide as he tried to find somebody out in front. Puck to the left corner. Kawaguchi feeds it to the right side. Hedrick's open. He'll take a shot. Glove save by Parikh.
Good composure there by Lucas Parikh again. An easy glove save for the big man, and this is really, man, that sequence where you're killing penalties and you have a major penalty, you don't capitalize on that. The game has really settled down. I feel like that hit kind of brought things back to life, obviously, but you really feel like the Grizzlies have done a really good job of being in control. But now with 1:14 to go here in the second period and a 1-0 lead, this is a huge draw.
Draws in the Grizzlies zone right side, and it's won by Utah as Dakota Raby skates along the near wing boards. He'll feed it across to Fitz. Fitz to the right side, skates towards the circle, takes a shot, saved by Shield. Jade Miller has the puck. He's going to be patient with it as he'll skate down the middle. 1 minute left in the period. Miller crosses center ice, and he'll dump it into the right side. I'm sure he's heard the Miller time saying far too many times in his life as Clermont will throw it up ahead, and it goes out to center ice. Idaho back in their own zone. Owen Hedrick last season was a captain in college. He'll throw it ahead. Steelheads in the offensive zone. Walker right side shot. Kick save by Parikh. Grizzlies clear it out to center. As Idaho gathers it, Domowski will skate in. He gets blasted at the blue line by Shearer. Puck to the corner. Clermont gets it. Nate will toss ahead. Turnover. Keller. I look to center. It kicked off the skate of Clermont, who made up for his mistake. As it goes back to Shearer on the left side. James runs it down. He collides with Keller along the far boards near the corner. 2 Grizzlies, 2 Steelheads over it. Fitz comes out of the pile with the puck. Dillon crosses center ice, dumps it in. Raby skates towards the left corner. 7 seconds left in the period. He overskated the puck. Pelton Bice around the net. 4 seconds left. He'll skate towards center ice. He'll look to fire a shot. It bounced off of Pfizer, and that does it for 40 minutes here at Idaho Central Arena. The Grizzlies had a 5-minute major power play. 2 of those minutes were a 4-on-4, which opens up the ice a little bit. Nobody scored in the set. Well, it was scoreless after 1. Taryn Pfizer scoring just under 2 minutes into the first period. I think about 1:36 to be exact, with Tardif and Nielsen getting the assist. And right now, that's the difference in the game. Lucas Parikh has stopped all 23 shots he has seen, and Adam Schill on the other side has stopped 16 of 17.
Yeah, I think that was a period about control is what that was. And I think when you look at how physical Idaho chose to get there, it's not really surprising. That's been very clearly in the 2 games we saw against them early. Rapid City last weekend, now Idaho again this weekend. It's very clear that teams around this league want to be physical with the Utah Grizzlies. But you know what, Tyson? I thought the Grizzlies answered the bell very well to that.
You know, it's going to be a physical game, and really when you play Idaho, you know that they're going to take advantage of your mistakes. And really what the Steelheads have done, they've looked for that centering pass from the corner all night long, and the Grizzlies have done a good job denying it. You know, we came into play tonight talking about the forwards of both teams, but really the difference has been both teams' defensive units and how on point and how disciplined they have been. And the only goal in the game was really kind of a good 2-pass combination. Nilsson was in his own zone, threw it to center ice for Tardif, and then Ben had a kind of a one-time pass out to the right side for Pfizer, and he was wide open, pretty much had a breakaway from his offensive blue line in. We'll get to some of the stats later on during the second intermission. We'll also go over some scores from around the world of sports. The Siegfried and Jensen intermission reports coming up next on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Chuck a puck here in Boise, second intermission. Utah leads 1-0. It was scoreless after 1 period. Idaho outshot Utah 12-7. In the second period, Idaho outshot Utah 11-10. Grizzlies outshot their opposition, Rapid City, in each of the first 2 games of this season. Idaho does a good job controlling the shot count. Steelheads lead 23-17 in shots, but the Grizzlies lead the game as Taryn Pfizer scored his 4th of the year. And to kind of put in perspective how good Taryn Pfizer has been, He's taken 6 shots this season in 8 periods of hockey, and he's got 4 goals. So
that's a pretty good percentage.
That's a percentage that if it keeps up for the whole season, he'll have like 100 goals. It's just, he's been outstanding for the Grizzlies, and you kind of went into the game feeling that Pfizer, Tardif, and Brandon Cutler line would get going. And it was Pfizer that got an assist on Tardif got an assist on the Pfizer goal. Andrew Nilsson probably should get an assist, but right now, as it stands, Tardif has the only assist for Utah. The other interesting thing that happened in the second period, Willie Nerum got an elbowing major and a game misconduct for elbowing. It was an elbowing major and a game misconduct, a 5 and a 10 for Willie Nerum, and he is in the locker room right now, and who knows about his availability for tomorrow as well. Now, 1 minute into the Grizzlies' 5-minute major power play, Dakota Raby got an interference minor as he set a screen, which looked like it'd be legal in basketball, but not in hockey. It's 2 minutes for interference. I would have thought when the action was 4-on-4 that with the ice opening up a little bit, that might be an opportunity for either team to get a goal, but it stayed a 1-0 game, and that's where we stand right now. It's been a good goaltending battle, and really the only goal on either side was that great move by Taryn Pfizer. You can actually see that move on the Grizzlies Twitter account at Utah Grizzlies, the move that Taryn Pfizer made for his 4th goal of the season, as we're live on Flow Sports and YouTube with the audio stream for every Utah Grizzlies game, all 72 regular season games, and obviously the Grizzlies are hoping to make a deep playoff run. Last season they were in the Western Conference Finals, but I think it was interesting to see the balanced shooting, the balanced shot count.
Yes.
In the through 2 periods, looks like Taryn Pfizer, 1 goal on 3 shots. Dylan Fitz had 3 shots, a couple of them late in the second period. And Andrew Nilsson, who I think's played a good game, with 3 shots as well. Cam Strong with 2 shots. And it was great to see Cameron Wright back on the ice. He was the guy that took the elbow up high from Willie Nerum. And it was good that a couple minutes later, Cameron Wright was back on the ice. He didn't miss much time.
Yeah, I thought that was critical, and I think the one of the things that's interesting about Cam Wright is we're seeing this game after game now. I mean, very clearly Rapid City targeted Cameron Wright. There is no doubt about that. We saw that 4 or 5 times last weekend. Now you have the Idaho Steelheads taking a run at him, and I think it's really interesting to see how all of that plays out. But yeah, I think it is very lucky in my mind that that Cameron Wright's back on the ice, because that is anytime you see an athlete take a hit of that magnitude to the head, you always worry about a concussion. You always worry about the long-term damage caused there, Tyson, but I think the Grizzlies catch a big break that such a young star like Cam Wright is okay and was right back on the ice.
It's the first of 8 straight road games for the Grizzlies, first of a 2-game series. Don't forget tomorrow night, same time, same channels, 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. And then the Grizzlies will head to Kansas City for 3 games next week, next Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. And then the Grizz will be in Allen, Texas, about 30 minutes away from downtown Dallas. The Grizzlies will take on the Allen Americans November 9th, 11th, and 12th. 3 games in 4 days. Speaking of the Grizzlies' next opponent, the Kansas City Mavericks, they trail Rapid City 5-2. That game played at the Monument. It's Rapid City's home opener. Kansas City led 2-1 after 20 minutes of play, but 4 goals from 4 different Rapid City skaters. Rory Cairns, Matt Marcineau, Max Cota, and Logan Nelson each found the back of the net. Dylan Kelly, the former Rapid City goaltenders, pulled for Kansas City, and it looks like Shane Sterrett is going the rest of the way for the Mavericks, as Rapid City scores 4 unanswered in the second period, and they lead Kansas City 5-2 after 2 periods. The other action in the league has gone final. Actually, 1 game in progress right now. In overtime, Savannah and Fort Wayne are tied at 3. The other games have gone final. Wichita gets their first win of the season. They defeat Tulsa 5-3. Cincinnati shuts out Wheeling 4-0. Norfolk over Maine 3-1. South Carolina is a 4-1 winner over Greenville. Newfoundland's a 6-3 winner over the Trois-Rivières Lions. The Lions will be at Maverick Center for a 3-game set in next weekend. I have no clue how to say their name.
Dude, you're killing it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Do it again.
Maybe next game. And Kalamazoo defeats Iowa 6-3. Iowa goes to 0-3 on the year. Kalamazoo gets their first win of the season. Interesting to see Wichita get on the board with their first win as they defeat Tulsa 5-3. We got a good one here at Idaho Central Arena as the Grizzlies lead 1-0. Let's take a look at the college football scores. Let's see if my phone will update here on the college football scores as East Carolina's taking on BYU tonight. And you know what happens every single time? I will check my phone and I'll look for a score, and then I just get the spinning wheel for about 3 or 4 minutes.
That game looks like it's tied at 24, BYU and East Carolina, 24-24, 7-10 to go in the fourth quarter of that one. By the way, the Nuggets lead the Jazz after 3, 89-78. So going to Denver is a very difficult win for the Jazz.
Utah leads 1-0. Second intermission. NHL action. The Colorado Avalanche fall 1-0. The Avalanche, the NHL affiliate of the Grizzlies. New Jersey gets a 1-0 victory. There's also a shutout as Boston defeated Columbus by a 4-0 score. It was also 4-0 as Vegas defeated Anaheim. That was an afternoon game. That was a final earlier in the day. No score, but with 13 minutes left in the first period, Winnipeg and Arizona. First intermission, Vancouver leads Pittsburgh 1-0. And one other final in the NHL, Islanders over the Carolina Hurricanes by a 6-2 final. In game 1 of the World Series, top of the 7th inning, Phillies and Astros are tied at 5.
Like to hear that. I am never a fan of that team from Houston, whose name I've sworn off of ever saying again. And my left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, is a Cub fan. I can proudly say my left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, is also in that game. But, boy, what a game we have here at Idaho Central Arena. You know, how impressed are you with the grit and tenacity of this Grizzlies team, Tyson? Because I think that is an emerging storyline amongst many with this team. To be up 1-0 in this game after 2 periods, to be in complete control, you felt like for a large part of that second period. And obviously Idaho helped with the major penalty, but to be in control for a good part of that period and to get the performance again that you're getting from Lucas Parikh, I mean, you got to feel pretty good about where this club's at right now.
Going into the game, I felt that one of the biggest keys was the Grizzlies' defensive discipline. You talk about one centering pass after another being intercepted by guys like Dakota Raby. The Grizzlies' sticks have been defensively been in the right place at the right time, and I wonder of the 23 shots that Idaho has, how many of them would you consider to be grade A type of scoring chances?
Probably 2 of them.
And I think that's a credit to the Grizzlies' defensive unit. You know, you're not seeing too many odd man rushes, if any, that Idaho has. You don't see too many 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s. And that's important because against a team like Idaho, you give them too many of those chances, they're going to bury some of them, especially with the skilled forwards they have. And I think Idaho defensively is doing a good job on the Grizzlies. I mean, it's the type of game where goals are going to be at a premium, and because of that, it's big to have that lead after 2 periods where the Grizzlies last season only lost 1 game in that situation.
Well, you know, the thing that scares you, obviously, and I shouldn't say scares you, but the thing that worries you is 1-0 is might as well be a tie game. I mean, you're one bad bounce away. The next goal in this game probably goes a long way to determining the winner. I mean, certainly if the Grizzlies come out and they can add another to go up 2-0, I mean, that's going to be an awfully steep hill to climb for the Idaho Steelheads. So I think you'd really like to see the Grizzlies come out on that front foot and get pucks to the net. I mean, again, you're being outshot 23-17. But I agree with you. I don't know how many of those 23 I would call a real quality opportunity, but I feel like the Grizzlies have had multiple quality opportunities. I feel like, you know, Shield's done a really nice job between the pipes for Idaho, but the next goal in this game is critically important.
To put a stat to it, Utah was 29-1 when leading after 2 periods last season. The first 2 games for Utah, they were tied after 2 periods against Rapid City. Tied 3-3 after 2 periods in the season opener last Friday, and then last Saturday, I think it was a 1-1 tie after 40 minutes of play. But Utah's got a 1-0 lead. We'll skate 5-on-5 when we start the 3rd period of play, and we'll have that 3rd period when we come back. As you're listening to the Siegfried and Jensen Intermission Report right here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
It's the start of a long road trip for the Grizzlies, first of 8 straight on the road. The Grizzlies will return home on Thursday, November 17th. Note that it is a Thursday night, a rare Thursday home game for the Grizzlies, and that will start a 6-game homestand and a 3-game series with Idaho. Second game of that 3-game set is Friday, November 18th. It's Pooch on the Pond.
Oh, boy.
Where the Utah Grizzlies invite you and your pup to join us for an exciting game. We have all kinds of festivities, including a photo booth and dog parade. How many people can say their dog have been to a hockey game? Well, now's your chance. Go to UtahGrizzlies.com and click on the promotions and buy your tickets for Pooch on the Pond for you and your dog on Friday, November 18th. And also on that homestand, Saturday, November 26th is the Grizzlies' second annual Pride Night. I know last season was quite a success, and the Grizzlies had good-looking jersey for that night. Second annual Pride Night is going to be on Saturday, November 26th, as the Grizzlies wrap up a 3-game series against the Trois Rivières Lions. As I might just take that weekend off with all.
I think you're killing that. That sounds perfect. I think you nailed it.
We're about set to start the third period of play. We're in about 3.5 minutes. Grizzlies taking on the Steelheads. Don't forget, if you got nothing else to do tomorrow, see if you can get a ticket. I know tickets can be pretty tough with about 5,200. I do see some Grizzlies fans here in attendance tonight.
Oh, it's always such a good trip, too. I made the drive this afternoon to broadcast the game, and it's an easy drive from Salt Lake City up to Boise. Come on out. Say hello to us up here at Idaho Central Arena. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. If tonight is any indication, tomorrow night is going to be unbelievable. But if you want to see some second period highlights, make sure you check out the Utah Grizzlies Twitter account right now. It's just Utah Grizzlies on Twitter. You'll be able to see all the second period highlights, including Taryn Fizer's goal. And again, if you haven't seen Taryn Fizer skate yet, you're going to be incredibly impressed with what you see. The guy is just so skilled, and instinctually he plays such a natural game. Taryn Fizer is just a load of fun to watch, Tyson. And when you look at the pass, his ability to receive that pass and then immediately pivot. I think that says a lot. And some of the performances that you're seeing in this period or in this hockey game tonight, Lucas Parikh, fantastic between the pipes. You look at a guy like a Taryn Fizer, you look at a guy like a Ben Tardif, you look at the D-line blocking shots, a critical shot block on the penalty kill by Dylan Fitz. These are critical performances that they may seem little, Tyson, but I think they're really big moments.
Well, a lot of little things turn into a big thing, and the Grizzlies defensively been on point as both teams are headed for the ice to start the third period. Grizzlies in their black jerseys with white numbers and professional green trim. There's a little bit of green on the forearms, kind of a couple stripes, green stripes on the forearm, and it looks like this year the white on the elbows are a little bit thicker than they were last season, and it is a good look. It's kind of like last season's black jersey, but just a little bit of subtle touches that make this year's jersey a little bit different. Idaho's wearing a white jersey that seems like they've worn for many years with a little bit of black and blue mixed in. Black on the shoulders, black lettering with a little bit of blue mixed in as well. As the fans here, we got about a sellout of 5,200 plus at Idaho Central Arena. And you mentioned Taryn Fizer. He didn't play in a single regular season game for Utah, as he had spent last season scoring a bunch of points for the Victoria Royals of the WHL. He had 51 points in 35 games. In 18 playoff games for the Grizzlies, he had 4 goals and 11 assists. He looked impressive in the playoffs, but when you saw him at training camp, he looked like he was a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. He handled the puck pretty well. Yeah. I've seen him catch some really tough passes and bury those. And, through 2.5 games, all he's done is score goals. He scored 1 goal on 1 shot last Friday in the season opener, 2 goals on 2 shots last Saturday in the Grizzlies' 3-2 win. And here tonight on 3 shots, picked up his 4th goal of the season, and he is shooting 4 of 6 so far on the year. So Taron Pfizer has been outstanding. He's got to be a candidate for the league's Player of the Month award from October.
Yep. What's up, Brian Simpson leaves us a comment tonight. Good to see you, Nadine Hellowell, with the score update. We appreciate that. Mark Hales, good to see you, my friend. Stu Wild is here watching the broadcast tonight. We appreciate everybody that's joining us. Drop a comment. We'd love to shout you out as we are ready for 3rd period action. The voice of the Grizzlies is Tyson Whiting.
Idaho wins the draw. Kawaguchi skates towards the right side. McDonald pushes him towards the corner, and Bartley delivers a hit. Cameron Wright up ahead. Good to see him back in the game as he took a high hit late in the 2nd period. Wright over towards Jamison. Grizzlies enter the zone. Sekos feeds it to the circle. The only guy there is Owen Hedrick, who seems to have had the puck all game for Idaho. Up ahead to register. He'll throw a blue line to blue line pass to Kawaguchi. It bounces off his stick. Now McDonald will nudge it ahead to Jamison along the near wing boards. Jamison over to Sekos. He feeds it to Cameron Wright. Goes past Wright. He gathers it in the right circle. Centering pass. Shot. Saved by Schill. What a good effort by Cameron Wright. Feeding the guy out in front. And that was Sekos, and Schill was able to make a great save as the Steelheads clear it out to the Utah blue line. Boy, the ice surface is usually outstanding here, but it looks like it's a little bit soft tonight. Up ahead to Klerman as Nate skates across the line, left side. Now he dumps into the corner, gets around Kedrick, and Cody Haskinen nudges it along the near side. Over to Pfizer on the right side. I tried to nudge it ahead to Keller. Keller was looking for a penalty, none to be had, as Cutler gets to Pfizer on the right side. Pfizer with a shot on. He fanned on it on this fresh sheet of ice. Idaho up ahead to Belton Bice. 1-on-1. Skates across the line. He loses the puck. Nilsson will throw it cross ice to Cutler. Now to Pfizer. Pfizer trying to get it back to Cutler, who was cutting down the middle, and the pass was wide of the mark. Zach Walker gets it across as Idaho at neutral territory. They'll bounce it off to Domowski, who was lucky to be onside. He'll dump it to the right circle as the Grizzlies in their own zone. Nate Klerman has it, and falling down is Zach Walker. Boy, the ice surface really is playing tricks tonight as Martin will bounce it off the near boards. Problem is he did it from Grizzlies territory as it goes all the way past the Idaho goal line, and icing is on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, boy, it is interesting to see because I'm with you. I mean, usually this surface in Idaho
usually
is
one of the
pristine.
best in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's in that transition period, but if you notice, there's still that wet glaze out there.
It looks very shiny.
Yeah, and usually that dries up very quickly. As the ice freezes, it becomes hard, so those water spots don't usually stay there, and they're staying there right now.
So we're seeing a lot of guys fall down or miss on passes or not really handle the puck the way they normally would. As a draw won by Idaho, they're in the offensive zone as Kanadi over to Hedrick, back towards Becker. One-timer, kick save by Parikh. Pfizer gets it as he'll toss it ahead. Tardif couldn't reach it. Make that Cutler as it goes deep over the goal line, and icing is called.
That went through the paint. Boy, that went through that blue paint.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the side of the net, but the whistle is blown, and draw's going to come back to the Grizzlies zone.
Wow, that's surprising. And if you don't know what icing is, essentially it is when you are on your side of the red line, which is the center ice red line, you throw it all the way down past the red line where the goaltender is for your opponent. That is icing if nobody touches that puck from your own team. So that's what we have here.
Draws in the far circle as the Steelheads skate from right to left, Utah from left to right. Grizzlies win the draw. Bryson Martin will throw it out to center ice as Hedrick runs after it. He deflected it, so no icing as Hedrick around his net. He'll skate towards the right side. Good back check by the Grizzlies. It goes to Zach Walker. He'll feed it back to Hedrick. He looks to center to Becker. He couldn't handle the puck. Pass up ahead to Penners behind him. Kanadi crosses center ice, now bouncing off the glass. Victor Bartley behind his goal line will whip it along the near wall. Goes back to Bartley in the corner. He'll lift it high into the air. It bounces at neutral ice. Raby overskated it. Idaho steps in. They look to center it to the high slot. Picked off by Raby. Fits at center ice, dumps it in. Raby gets around a skater. He gets the puck behind the goal line. Raby, tried to feed it out in front. It hit the side of the net as Cameron Wright was cutting through. Idaho throws it to center ice, left wing. Still had skate in. Svanenbergs gets boxed out by Connor McDonald, who did a great job once again. Raby to the right side, 1-on-3. Stops, centers it to Sekos to take a shot, and it's blocked by Haskinen. As A.J. White looked like Raby got knocked down by Register along the near boards. Now Nilsson getting physical in the corner. Nilsson gets shoved down, no call, as the Steelheads come back the other way. Nilsson back to his feet, center ice. A.J. White to the right. White slot shot, saved by Parikh, and Lucas holds on.
Wow, boy, I don't know how that's not a cross check. on Idaho, but it's not. And another nice job by Lucas Perique to calm this game down. Big shout out to Chelsea Shearer, Tyson, who says, love getting to listen to the games while working so I can cheer on my brother, number 29, Quadzilla, James Shearer.
Quadzilla.
Dude, I golfed. I watched him golf at the Grizzlies golf tournament. My man does not skip leg day. Chelsea, thanks for spending your time with us here at the Utah Grizzlies.
Draws in the right circle. It's won by Idaho in the offensive zone. Domowski with a shot that gets blocked. Sekos comes back the other way. Sekos to neutralize. I tried to find Cameron Wright, and Idaho picked it off. Now the Steelheads with an incomplete pass, and it's going to be icing as Nate Clerman skates down there, winning the foot race with Colton Keller.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. I mean, it is absolutely a big, it's absolutely a big game right there for the Utah Grizzlies. So now this becomes a really important face-off because you're in their end, and you would love to get a win here and get some possession.
Jamison will take the draw against Ty Pelton-Bice, who's a tall one at 6'2" and 195 pounds. Draw won by Idaho as they'll get it out to neutral ice. Domowski feeds it to the right side for Colton Keller. Keller steps over the line, dumps it in. Sekos behind his net. He gets blasted. Grizzlies get it to Jamison on the right side. Over to Clerman. He'll feed it cross ice from the right to the left. We'll toss it ahead to Walker. Walker, left side, feeds to his right for Becker. Becker in the slot, shot saved by Perique. Goes to the right side as they try to feed it to Walker out in front. He couldn't handle it. Now left side, Becker with a shot, saved by Bartley. He loses his stick and literally kicks it to the corner. Up top for Kanadi. Kanadi being shadowed by Pfizer. Now Becker skates towards his right up top. Becker being shadowed by Cutler. Cutler pushes him along the boards. Becker falls down. Now Kanadi right side, feeds it out in front. Steelhead shot. And it gets kicked away by Walker's skate. Pfizer crosses center ice. He'll skate to the right. Just outside the circle, gets to Nilsson. Andrew centers it to Cutler, but Cutler will veer back towards the near wing boards. Nilsson gets knocked down. Tardif slot shot. That one goes high off the glass. Pfizer on the left side skates towards a point. Feeds it across to Nilsson. Andrew fanned on it. Gets it over to Kanadi. Idaho fans want a call, but none to be had. Steelheads carried into the zone. Walker over to Kanadi. He'll skate towards his left. Drops it off. Right side shot. Saved by Perique. Getting it back is Kawaguchi. He took the initial shot but couldn't get a second chance. McDonald, right side, crosses center ice. The captain dumps it in. As behind the net, Adam Schill rolls it along the near boards. Svanenberg's up ahead to center ice for A.J. White. White steps over the blue line. He looks to center it. Good job by Bryson Martin getting in the way. Turnover, left circle. Steelheads get over to Kawaguchi, but Bryson Martin cut in front of him to make up for his mistake. Steelheads up ahead to Kawaguchi. He's surrounded by 3 Grizzlies. Utah pokes it away. Sekos flips it high into the air. It's gloved by Register. He'll skate towards the far wall. It gets kicked away. Cameron right to the right side, dumps it in. As it goes to Hedrick, who's played a good game. As Sekos got hit pretty hard deep in the Steelhead zone. Idaho carries it across the line. White over to the right side. Steelhead skate in. Shot saved by Perique.
What a save by Lucas Perique. And the guy you got to shout out here is the captain, Connor McDonald, had an incredible shift there. Holy Moses, what a sequence for the Idaho Steelheads right after the Utah Grizzlies hit the crossbar. An unbelievable sequence. 13:26 left in the contest. Here in Idaho, your Utah Grizzlies lead 1-0 on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
in regulation. Idaho has outshot Utah 5-1 here in the third period. Grizzlies were 29-1 when leading after 2 periods. We got a raucous crowd at Idaho Central Arena. Tyler Penner will take the draw against Ty Pelton-Bice. Steelheads win the draw as Cody Heiskanen, 6'4", skates towards the right side, and he'll trying to skate around the net. Now Keller over to the left side, kicks off of Parikh as a helmet goes flying. Parikh, puck still in play. Idaho around the net and rolls back to the left side. Shot goes wide, and that was Penner that lost his helmet, so he had to leave the ice. Keller behind the net, and Bartley pokes it away as Klerman battling with 2 Steelheads. Puck rolls towards the corner. Raby trying to get it to Fitz. Puck deflects back to Raby. Now Dakota skates around the net, and he'll whip it along the near wing boards. Goes past Brandon Cutler out to center ice for Fitz. Back to Cutler. He'll skate down the middle. He'll get it over to the left side. Raby with a shot that goes wide. Actually, that was Bartley. Now to the right side, Klerman tries to feed the circle. Idaho picks it off. Patrick Cutler skates down the middle. 2-on-3. Cutler gets around Fitz. He'll take a shot. Kick save by Parikh. Good move by Cutler, but Parikh makes a nice kick save. Good with his glove and his feet. Now centers it. Shot by Pelton-Bice, and Parikh makes a save as Pelton-Bice didn't get much on a one-timer there. Lucas is putting together a documentary-worthy performance. We don't mention in the third period when a goaltender's having a particularly good game. They think it jinxes it or something like that.
Well,
but Parikh's looked pretty good here so far.
12:25 to go here in the contest, and Lucas Parikh has been rock solid. This has been a wild third period. Thanks for joining us tonight, spending some time, as you're in for a roller coaster ride to finish this one up, Tyson.
Parikh 30 for 30 on saves. The Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 7-1 in the third period. Cam Strong will take the face-off for Utah, and he wins it as McDonald in the corner gets it to Nielsen. Now ahead to the right side off the boards. Pfizer gets it right circle. Pfizer will skate in looking for a backhand shot. Got too close to Shield. The Idaho goaltender gets spun around a little bit. He's on 2 knees. Now to the slot. Shot. That one's blocked. Nielsen with a shot. Saved by Shield.
Man, what a sequence for the Utah Grizzlies, and who's in the middle of it again? Taryn Pfizer going end to end, does a great job to cut off the defender, get to the front of the net, and then the Grizzlies do a great job of continuing that pressure. Man, this has been a wild third period, and it really is about who's going to make that little mistake, who's going to slip and fall, who's going to turn the puck over, because that's what's going to determine the outcome of this game. When you're up 1-0 with 12 minutes to go, I think you got to play it like you're tied, because in hockey, a 1-0 lead really isn't that much of a lead at all, if we're being honest.
Idaho giving their goaltender a little bit of time as Pfizer was skating in from the right side with Kanadi defending him, and Pfizer collided with the Shield, and it looks like they're giving him a couple extra seconds to make sure he's okay, as the draw is going to be in the right circle. 12:06 left in regulation as taking the face-off will be Brandon Cutler, who's got Tardif to his left and Pfizer to his right. Defensive pairing of Nielsen and McDonald. Draw won by Utah. McDonald on the right side will take a shot. Glove saved by Shield. Shot would have gone wide off the glass, but Shield just made the save anyway. Grizzlies will keep it in the offensive zone with a face-off with 12:02 left.
Looked like that may have hit one of the Grizzlies on the way to the net there, but you're getting outshot now 30-19, and let's see if Brandon Cutler, the newest Grizzly, can win another draw.
Didn't take many face-offs last season, and he's done a good job on the face-off circle tonight. Draw won by, well, Pfizer looked like he was going to win it. Gets tripped up. Idaho comes up with the puck as they're behind their own goal line. Heiskanen over to the left side, gets to Walker. Walker turns it over. Pfizer tries to split a double team. Pfizer keeps the puck. He's surrounded by 3 Steelheads. Now Idaho pokes it away. Jack Becker dumps it into Grizzlies territory. Nielsen runs it down. So does Walker. No icing as Tardif will nudge it ahead to Pfizer. Pfizer across to Cutler as he'll carry it out of the zone. Now across center ice. 2-on-4. Cutler gains the line, steps over to the left side. He'll take a shot. Saved by Shield.
Exactly what you want to see. Brandon Cutler getting the puck to the net. Get a face-off, change lines.
And really it was the face-off that was the good part, because it was like a 2-on-4.
Yeah.
You let him make a routine save, And you'd be like, okay, what's the save and whatever, but the Grizzlies get a face-off in the offensive zone as a result.
But I think this is what you're trying to, pucks in, pucks out, be decisive. When you have a one-goal lead, you cannot afford to take risks. And again, now you have one of your best face-off man in Zach Sekos out there.
Draw on the left circle is won by Utah's Bryson Martin. Will feed it out to the left circle. Now to Sekos, centering pass shot, and that one gets blocked. Goes out to center ice. Clerman gets it. He'll peel back into his own zone. He'll backpedal and go D to D with Martin. He'll toss it ahead to Cameron Wright in the offensive zone. Wright tried to find Jamison. It's picked off. Idaho up ahead to the right side for Kawaguchi. Delayed offside, so he lets Utah touch it. Grizzlies have the puck skating towards their right. Now feed it out to neutral ice. Sekos drops it off for Jamison. He's on the left side, just outside the circle. I tried to find Wright out in front. Rolls towards Shields. We get a whistle. And after the play, Cameron Wright.
Oh, wow.
Kawaguchi thought he got a little bit too close, and now it's on. Cameron Wright is a rat in a good way. He's a guy that's going to get in those areas.
Yeah, Kawaguchi is going to be lucky if he avoids the sin bin here, because he threw a cross check into a Utah Grizzly right in front of the official. This is what you expect out of Utah Grizzly Idaho Steelhead games. Yeah, I think Kawaguchi's going to the box here, and we'll see if one of the Grizzlies joins him. It does not look like it. It looks like Kawaguchi's definitely going.
So it's two for Kawaguchi.
No, it is going to be Cam Wright. Yeah, you're
Cameron
exactly
Wright
right.
stayed to the box himself.
Offsetting minor penalties here. 10:54 to go. 1-0. The Utah Grizzlies lead the Idaho Steelheads live at Idaho Central Arena. This has been a very tightly contested hockey game tonight, and I can tell you right now, this is going to come down to one of those little mistakes by somebody. And it's been so tight because I think these two teams are very similar teams. The Grizzlies are more skilled. The Idaho Steelheads clearly tonight have tried to be more physical. They're using their size. Which one's going to win out? So far, it's been the Utah Grizzlies.
Grizzlies scored a 4-on-4 goal in the third period on Saturday night. We got 4-on-4 for 2 minutes as Kawaguchi and Wright are in the box for their respective teams. As Idaho gets it out to center ice, and they'll drive it around the boards. Parikh couldn't cut it off as it goes towards the near side. The captain couldn't handle it as Keller will throw it to the right side. Righty shot, saved by Parikh. That was taken by Cody Heiskanen, who's got an AHL contract. In fact, Heiskanen, actually, I think he played at Cornell University. He's got an ECHL contract, first-year pro.
Well, I'll tell you, Lucas Parikh continues to control rebounds. And one of the things that you're seeing tonight is that, without doubt, Adam Scheel has had some trouble with rebounds, and you see the Grizzlies, who have hit 2 posts in this period, peppering his net, now up to 20 shots.
Cutler will take the face-off against Bice. Draw won by Utah as Victor Bartley at his goal line will feed it across to McDonald. The captain gets it across to Bartley as Victor skates towards his blue line. He'll get it to Tardif. Now to McDonald on the right side. He's near the Grizzlies bench. Gets it back to Tardif. As Grizzlies patient with their approach, they like to utilize their speed. Right wing pass to Cutler. He skates to the right circle around Keller. I try to find Tardif out in front. There were too many sticks in the way. Idaho will carry it out to neutral ice. Now they'll back it out. Now we'll get it to Owen Hedrick. He crosses center ice. He's the one on an AHL contract. He was a captain in college last season. He'll throw it to the left point. The only guy there was Tardif. As we got a potential 3-on-2. Grizzlies skate in. Over to Cutler. He skates towards the slot. Gets to Tardif on the right side, but he swung and missed. Might have been looking for another pass to the left side. As it goes back to Idaho. Raby now on the ice as well as Martin as they still had skate from right to left. They cross center ice. Now they gain the line. Jack Becker gets it poked away by Martin. Pfizer, left wing pass to Nielsen. Back to Pfizer. Boy, teams are having a tough time handling the puck here on what looks to be a warmer than usual ice surface here on opening night in Idaho. As Martin will bounce it off the boards past Raby. Still has throw it around their net as Cudler will not toss it ahead. Becker at neutral ice crosses center. He's near the Grizzlies bench, skates along the near wing boards. He gets to the goal line as he's cut off by Nielsen. Now Domowski feeds it out in front, but a good job by Dakota Raby getting another stick in the way as it goes out to center ice. Idaho peels it back into their own zone. Soft pass to center ice, cut off by Martin, but Idaho gets it back. Kanadi over to Becker, who's been active this shift. And that will do it for the 4-on-4 action as we're back to 5-on-5. Becker skates in, right point, shot. That one goes wide over the head of Parikh. As puck ends up with Kudla. He gets around Pfizer. He's now in the left circle. Kudla makes a nice move around another skater, but couldn't handle it the rest of the way. Idaho tries to feed it to the point, and it's picked off by Wright. Wright up ahead, fresh out of the box, over towards Raby, trying to find a cutting right, and Idaho picked it off.
8:30 to go in the game, 1-0 Utah.
Pass out to the Utah blue line. Grizzlies will dump it deep into the Steelheads zone as it goes past the goal line for an icing call. 8:21 left in the third. Neither team was able to get anything going on the 4-on-4, and I think for the Grizzlies, they wanted to be pretty patient with their approach and see if they can find a way to get some insurance, but just couldn't find a way to get one past Adam Shield.
Yeah, and I think this ice could play a factor in the outcome of this game. Because, again, not to be redundant, but, I mean, this ice is choppy at best. And as Tyson has said several times, the puck is just not going the way that you're expecting it to go.
Seko's taking the draw against the former Grizzly A.J. White, and White wins it. Kawaguchi left side. He takes a shot, and it glances off the stick of Bartley. Grizzlies, Cam Strong gets hit. Puck still in the Grizzly zone. Kawaguchi gets it taken away by Clerman. Over to Bartley, who will bounce it off the glass, goes past Raby. Now Seko stumps in from the right side as Sekos and Register while they collide, as Register does have a size advantage. Now Idaho up with it. As pass out to A.J. White. He crosses center, feeds it over to Svanenbergs, who dumps it in from his blue line, or from his offensive blue line. Now the Grizzlies come back skating from left to right. 2-on-3. Grizzlies cross center. Fits with a shot, saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to Hedrick. And out to the left side. Steelheads couldn't clear it out. Nielsen in the corner. Tries to find Fitz out in front. Puck stayed towards Nielsen's stick as he's pinned along the end wall. Tardif battling. Two Steelheads in the area as well. Puck squirts towards Idaho, and they feed it across the right side. Zach Walker gets it. He'll skate around his net. Less than 7.5 minutes left. Walker feeds to his blue line. Grizzlies picking off. Now to the right side. Cutler with a one-timer. Saved by Shield.
And Shield was his own worst enemy right there, Tyson, because he had an opportunity to hold that puck and he didn't. It bounced out, and that whole other possession right there was because a lack of rebound control. Don't go anywhere. The third period has been unbelievable. We've got 7:14 to go. The Utah Grizzlies lead the Idaho Steelheads 1-0 on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
It's 1-0 Grizzlies. Taryn Pfizer scored 1:36 into the second. Ben Tardif, and they did add an assist to Andrew Nilsson.
There you go.
So Tardif and Nilsson get the assist on Pfizer's goal. Idaho has outshot Utah 8-5 in the third period. Special teams really haven't played a factor as Idaho's 0 for 3 on the power play. Utah's 0 for 2.
Good call on the Nielsen assist.
Draw on the right side, and Idaho wins it. Puck is deep in the Steelhead zone as Ty Pelton-Bice will throw it cross ice. Idaho couldn't handle it. Taryn Pfizer gets it. He'll throw it to Cutler as Utah could sure use some insurance. As Grizzlies towards the left corner, Idaho pokes it away. Both teams have been on point defensively. Bice will throw it to Keller. He skates in from the right side, being shadowed by Martin. As Martin pokes it away, now Pfizer gathers it. He'll feed it to the right side for Clerman. Nate skates across center ice, doesn't have numbers, so just dump it in. Clerman falls down, no call. You're normally a great skater, but just couldn't get around Kudla. Puck is behind the Idaho net. Steelheads come away with it. They had kind of a 3-on-1 battle. As Idaho, Kudla crosses the center ice logo, and he'll dump it in as he's looking for a call. Looks like the officials are going to let him play here in the third. Fitz skates in, left side, skates towards the circle, take a shot. Kick saved by Shield. Up ahead to Bartley. Left point, feeds it across to McDonald. Now back to Bartley. Victor skates towards his right, gets it to McDonald, who also skates towards his right. Now to Bartley, who's now on the right side. He'll take a shot, and it goes wide. There was some traffic out in front. Shield might have not have seen it, but it went over his head off the glass. McDonald, left point, skates towards the circle. I tried to feed it to the corner, but the pass was too hot to handle. Now behind the net, gets over to Penner. He'll take a shot, and it rolls towards Shield, and the Idaho goaltender is covered up.
Phenomenal save by Shield there. Man, I mean, this period has really been so many close calls, and I feel like the Utah Grizzlies have had the advantage here. And I think one of the things you're seeing is Connor McDonald, the captain of this team, he wears number 5, has really been poised in this third period. That particular shift right there, if he's not poised at the point to keep that puck in, Dylan Fitz never gets that opportunity, and I think you're seeing that now with Connor McDonald. I think you're seeing that with Victor Bartley. I think you're seeing Andrew Nielsen, I think, has done a phenomenal job tonight. It's been interesting to watch as this blue line group has come together. I think you're seeing a lot more confidence and a lot more poise out of that group. And I think when you're looking at some of the forwards that are on the ice, like I think Dylan Fitz, while not spectacular, getting that puck to the net is absolutely imperative, because now it forces another timeout, some more rest, but it also gets you another offensive zone draw.
Less than 6 minutes left. Every face-off from here on in is going to be critical, and I don't know the exact number, but it seems like the Grizzlies have been more than respectable on the face-off circle here tonight.
Oh, partner, I think that's exactly right, and I think, everybody who's been in that circle, I think Brandon Cutler's done a phenomenal job. I think he's had a very good night for a guy who's really playing in his first game of the season. He's looked really good, and you look at Keaton Jamison, who's going to take this one, another solid draw guy.
Face-offs in the left circle, 5:57 left in the third. Utah leads 1-0. Fans ran the cowbells and making some noise. Got about a sellout, very few empty seats scattered throughout. As Utah wins the draw, Sekos to the goal line, gets it to Wright. Wright gets pinned towards the corner. Wright trying to get around Register. Wright gets it to Sekos, left side, takes a shot, glanced off a stick of Idaho, and goes flying into the right corner. Puck still in play. Wright gets hit and gets divorced from the puck. As Idaho at neutral ice, crosses center, Kawaguchi collides with Martin as the puck goes to the left corner. As Kawaguchi gets pinned by Sekos, and it goes to Cameron Wright, tried to clear it out, it stayed in. Register to the left side, feeds it across to Hedrick. He'll take a shot. Glove save by Parikh.
Excellent positioning there by Lucas Parikh again. 5:22 to go now in the third period. 1-0 Grizzlies. Great job by Bryson Martin to be physical and take the body at the top of the zone to slow that rush down. But again, I think what you're seeing is a guy like Matt Register throw that puck across to Owen Hedrick that leads to a slap shot opportunity. But because you have Lucas Parikh in great position, he makes the save.
Draw one by Cutler on the Grizzlies as Tardif gets ahead to Pfizer. Pfizer 2-on-2, gains the line, right side. Looks to center to Tardif. Shot saved by Schill. Centering pass connected, but Schill made the save as Tardif was pretty close to him. Puck goes back to neutral ice and goes back to Register. Register ahead. Steelheads gain the blue line as over on the right point they stop. Feed it to the corner for Becker on the far side. He gets it behind the net to Jade Miller. Miller being shadowed by Pfizer. It's going to be a delayed penalty. It's going to be on Utah. Register, left point shot is blocked about 5 feet in front of Parikh. Grizzlies touch it up. Cross-checking is going to be the call. And the Grizzlies are going to the penalty box with 4:50 left as Ben Tardif skates towards the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell.
Well, here we go. This is the opportunity the Idaho Steelheads have been waiting for with 4:50 to go in the third. They're going to have a 2-minute power play. Now, a couple of things to remember. The Utah Grizzlies last year were one of the best teams in the league with being shorthanded. They did a great job of getting pucks to the net when they were shorthanded. The other thing we've seen is they've been an excellent penalty-killing team to start this season. I would expect that again, but a huge face-off here.
Idaho wins the draw. Kudlik feeds it across. Now to the corner. Domowski wearing number 15. Up top for Heiskanen. Now to the high slot for Kudla. He'll get it to Keller, left side. Back up top for Kudla. He'll drop it back off for Keller as they switch spots in the ice. Now Heiskanen skates towards his right. Gets over to Keller. Now to the right circle. Domowski one-timer saved by Parikh. Domowski didn't get much on it. He's in the corner as the Steelheads get it over to Heiskanen. As now Idaho to the right side, looking for a shot. Domowski didn't have time and space with Sekos. Now in front of the net, Keller gets it poked away. Wright will clear it out. Great defensive work by the Grizzlies, and their 4-man unit comes off, and another 4 enter as the Idaho Steelheads cross center ice. Domowski gets cut off at his blue line and goes back towards the Utah blue line as Idaho will reset the attack.
Another Idaho Steelhead falls down on the puck.
White, neutral ice, skates down the middle. He crosses center ice. Now he gains the blue line. He stops in the right point, tries to center it. Kicked off stick over to the left point. Hedrick over to Kawaguchi. Now up top for Kudla. He's on the left side. He'll feed it up top for Hedrick. Now to the right circle. Kawaguchi tries to kick it out in front. Picked off by Raby, who clears it out. Idaho with an outlet pass to their blue line. And now backing it out into his own zone is Jonas Vandenbergs. 30 seconds left in the Idaho power play. Pass ahead. Kawaguchi on the left side gains the line as he'll skate towards the circle. Stop near the boards. Gets up top for Register. Matt over to Vandenbergs. Back to Register. He'll feed it to Hedrick. Now it's on the right side as Idaho gets it back up top for Register on the left side. He'll take a shot. Saved by Parikh. Rebound goes out to the right corner as Idaho behind the net. White couldn't handle it. Now Klerman nudges to Dylan Fitz. Fitz clears it out. 5 seconds left in the penalty kill. Outlet pass to the Grizzlies blue line. It's Kawaguchi, skates towards the circle. Kawaguchi with a backhand shot, saved by Parikh. Good job by Nilsson cutting in front. Grizzlies back at full strength. Idaho has it, left side Kawaguchi, shot, saved by Parikh as it glanced off his glove. Keller gets the rebound right side as the Steelheads.
Net's empty for Idaho.
6-on-5 with an empty net is Idaho. 2:30 left as Heiskanen tries to feed it out in front. Pass goes wide. Utah gets over towards Cutler, is trying to locate it. Still had spin it around the boards. Now Connor McDonald gets dragged down. No call as over along the near boards. Steelheads battling with Utah. 2 Steelheads make that 3 Steelheads, 2 Grizzlies. Puck ends up squirting towards the left point. 2 minutes left. 6-on-5. Idaho's net's empty. Centering pass doesn't connect. Tardif skates out to neutralize. Tardif tries to feed it to Pfizer. Idaho picked it off. Now it goes back to Tardif. He skates towards center ice. He'll fire towards the empty net, and Idaho picks it off about 10 feet in front of the crease.
1:50 to go in the game. 6-on-5. Idaho's got an empty net. Utah's got a 1-0 lead.
Idaho skates it to neutralize. Heiskanen with a right wing pass. Steelheads skate towards the goal line around Parikh's net. Wrap around shot saved by Parikh. Grizzlies clear it out. That shot was taken by Owen Hedrick, and it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies, but great job by Lucas Parikh as Hedrick skated around the net and was looking for the wraparound, and Parikh got his skate in the way.
Excellent job there. You're exactly right. Lucas Parikh, Johnny on the spot again. Boy, that was awfully close to being deflected out of the zone by Kudla as the Idaho Steelheads continue 6-on-5 here. Klerman, Jamison, Wright are out there.
Idaho's up to 35 shots, the Grizzlies 26. 1-0 Utah, 1:30 left in regulation. Off the draw, Hedrick shot saved by Parikh. Rebound goes to Idaho. Left point, Kudla across to Hedrick, who's been good tonight. He'll feed it to the far goal line. Now back up top for Hedrick. Right side, Jamison shadowing him. Hedrick feeds it to the corner. Kawaguchi back to Hedrick. One-timer, that gets blocked and deflects out of play as Keaton Jamison twice got his body in the way. And we get a whistle with 1:11 left in regulation.
Brandon Cutler, nice shift there. Bryson Martin coming off. Zachos McDonald.
Looks like a timeout's going to be called, and I believe it's going to be Everett Sheen, the Idaho head coach.
I mean, this is something that the Utah Grizzlies work on every single day, and I think that's why you're going to see this group out there for the Utah Grizzlies, including Connor McDonald, the captain, Victor Bartley, as well as we have about 1:11 to go here in the third period. Utah's up 1-0 in what has been a fantastic hockey game right here in Idaho at Idaho Central Arena. And again, Tyson, not to be redundant, you wouldn't expect anything else between these two teams. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that Idaho is a better hockey club than they were last year. But this Utah Grizzlies team is also a better hockey club. I think, from the blue line, everybody was worried about what this team was going to lose on the blue line. I don't think they've lost anything. In fact, I think I could make an argument this is a better group of defensemen for the Grizzlies this year than last. But this last 60, 71 seconds is going to be scintillating.
Zach Sekos will take the face-off as Ryan Knaswich talked with his unit. Idaho's got what they probably consider their top line out there. 6-on-5, Idaho's net's empty. Face-offs from here on in are critical. Draw, won by Utah. Grizzlies throw up between the defensemen. Idaho runs it down to their blue line. Great face-off win by Sekos. He's done it all night. Idaho at neutral ice. Gets over to Hedrick. He's had the puck, it seems like, all game. Hedrick, fanned on a dump in. Hedrick carries it in himself as he regathered it. He'll feed it over to the left side for Becker. Becker tries to feed it out in front. Oh, no, just no chance. Now, Parik's on two. He's on his backside. Grizzlies poke it away. Great job, Cameron Wright. He skates after it, right to the empty net, and he scores! Save that puck, Mason Whalen, as Cameron Wright gets his first as a pro. And this baby's in the refrigerator as Utah's taking a 2-0 lead with 39 seconds left.
Justice is served for Cameron Wright. What an incredible sequence by Lucas Parik. 3 big saves to preserve the shutout, and then Cameron Wright on dead legs out-hustles the Idaho Steelheads to get there first, finish it from center ice. It's in the net. It's 2-0. Utah Grizzlies lead the Idaho Steelheads. 40 seconds to go in what has been a wildly entertaining game.
Parik was on his backside. He was on his key.
Yeah.
He was on his keister for about 5 seconds. Idaho couldn't get a shot at it. They were that close to tying up the game. I've got my fingers about 6 millimeters apart as Grizzlies lead 2-0. Idaho dumps it in. 30 seconds left. Fans are starting to head for the exits. Puck over in the left corner. Pelton Bice over to Domowski. He'll take a shot saved by Parik. As Domowski couldn't get a second shot off as the puck goes to the corner. Idaho's net's empty again as Walker couldn't clear it out. Register left side takes a shot saved by Parik. 15 seconds left. Walker shot saved Parik. Grizzlies, Idaho centering pass, shot and a score.
Wow.
What an angled shot as Idaho is on the right side, bounced it off to somebody, and it ended up past Lucas Parik.
Wow, wow, wow. And Lucas Parik is going to be upset about that one, but I don't think he had any chance at all to make a save on that, as the Idaho Steelhead man was standing on the goal line, extended. And my guess is that hits Lucas Parik in the back to score from that angle. And now with 13.3 seconds to go, would you have it any other way? A 1-goal lead. It is 5-on-5 as Idaho has put their goaltender back in.
10 seconds left. Idaho wins the draw. Tried to dump it in, but fanned on it. Now they carry it in, but they're offside.
He is off. Absolutely, he is off.
5.2 seconds left. Parik loses the shutout. It was hard to say because there was about 3 bodies to his right. It could have hit any of 3 people, but just ended up past him.
Yeah, there's just no way he has. I mean, there's no way he's making that save. That's not his doing at all. As now the Idaho net will remain empty, and it will be 6-on-5. Domowski getting some instruction from the Idaho bench. Brandon Cutler's going to take the draw.
Well, it's going to be tough for Idaho, considering you got to get it into the zone, or else you're looking at a neutral zone shot against a guy like Lucas Parik. There's just not much time.
With 5.3 seconds to go, it's 2-1. The Utah Grizzlies lead Idaho.
Cutler will take the face-off against Bice. Draw won by Utah. Tardif will throw it to the empty net. Doesn't matter as this baby's over and the Grizzlies win. Grizzlies get a 2-1 victory, and there's no doubt about it as they've won 2 in a row. They got a goal from Taryn Pfizer in the second period, and Cameron Wright gets an empty netter with 39 seconds left for his first pro goal. Idaho scored one late with about 13 seconds left in regulation. But how about Lucas Parik? It's not a shutout, but it's 38 of 39. And what a performance by the Grizzlies on the defensive side. They did just what they needed to do. And Lucas Parik, you think about 2 shutouts against the Grizzlies last season, 46 shots, 43 shots. It's not a shutout, but 38 of 39 is not shabby. As Lucas Parik and Trent Miner talking it over in front of the crease. What a job by Lucas Parik tonight as the Grizzlies come away with the victory in a place that's awfully tough to win at in the first of a 2-game series.
Yeah, now what you're seeing is that the Idaho fans are throwing their Chuck-a-Pucks on the ice.
I mean, that was second intermission, but, you know, if you still have yours, I guess you can either walk out with it or you can throw it on the ice.
Yeah, as you see Lucas Parik doing what he does every game right there. As he takes a moment at the blue line opposite. And it's just unbelievable, the performance that he had on 39 shots. He gives up 1 goal with less than 10 seconds to go. I mean, he makes another save. I mean, just an unbelievable performance out of Utah Grizzlies goaltender Lucas Parik. And Tyson, I think that's absolutely the story of the night, that Lucas Parik stands on his head for the second time in 3 weeks here in Idaho Lucas Perique was fantastic in the preseason, and I think again tonight he does it. And when you look at the depth of talent in between the pipes for the Utah Grizzlies, I don't know how you're going to break this guy, because you look at Trent Miner out there tonight, giving him props, tapping him on the head, like congratulating him. You look at those two guys, you look at Garrett Metcalf, I just don't know how you could ask for anything else from your goaltenders. The camaraderie is unbelievable. I don't know how you could ask for anything else from your defensemen tonight. I thought Clermont and McDonald were fantastic. I thought Victor Bartley was really solid tonight. This was a really good all-around performance.
And defensively, the discipline all night. As Idaho, it just seemed like they wanted to get to the corner, get that centering pass through, and time again, the Grizzlies just denied it. They forced everything to the perimeter. A lot of shots taken from the point. I think it's one of those, you're talking about best defensive efforts in the last couple of years. I mean, the Brady DeVries game certainly is up there from last season, but the defensive effort tonight, all 6 defensemen have to be really proud of their efforts. This was probably Bryson Martin's best game as a Grizzly. James Scheer was certainly solid all night.
Yes.
Connor McDonald, especially in the third period. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but McDonald, time and time again, it was kind of a one-on-one thing. Idaho would skate into the offensive zone, and McDonald would just push him towards the boards or push him to the corner. McDonald was outstanding tonight. And, Taryn Pfizer, once again, finding the stat sheet. And Cameron Wright, for the job that he has done over the first 3 games. James Scheer got his first pro goal on an empty net March 18th of last season here. And Cameron Wright gets an empty net goal. And obviously, I'd like for it to be a one-timer from the right side where he had to get it through 2 guys.
Pretty and sensational.
I mean, an empty netter, I guess you'll take it anyway, as luckily they saved the puck, and he'll have it for the rest of his life. And, you think about a tough place to play here in Idaho, and the Grizzlies starting an 8-game road trip against maybe the best of the 3 teams they're going to face on this trip, come away with a victory, and that works. Regardless of what happens tonight, Grizzlies at least get a split, and who knows, maybe tomorrow night you'll get another good battle, another great crowd here at Idaho Central Arena. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow as the Grizzlies look for the series sweep.
Yeah,
in Boise.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine Trent Miner's probably due for that start, but I mean, I just cannot say enough about Lucas Perique. I mean, this is a guy that I think is an emerging star in goal. I mean, I don't know that he could ask for 2 better performances. And really, if you come back 2 weeks ago, his first 3 performances wearing a Utah Grizzlies sweater have been nothing short of spectacular. And to do it last weekend against Rapid City, to turn around and do, complete the trick again against the Idaho Steelheads. I mean, your 2 biggest rivals. I mean, he's been nothing short of spectacular. And I just don't know what Ryan Kanasowicz could ask for more from Lucas Perique. It was just spectacular. But I think when we talk about Ryan Kanasowicz hockey teams, he wants them to play fast. I think we saw that tonight. I think he wants toughness, grit, determination, decisiveness. I think we saw all of those things tonight, Tyson. I would have to believe that Ryan Kanasowicz, of course, is going to have things he wants cleaned up, but I have to believe that he's going to be very happy with this performance.
And Brandon Cutler in his Grizzlies season debut, he played the first half of last season with Utah. Wasn't a guy that took faceoffs. He was playing on the wing. But the job that he did in the last 2 periods on the faceoff circle was just outstanding. And I don't know what the exact faceoff numbers were, but the Grizzlies more than held their own against an Idaho team that traditionally is pretty good on the faceoff circle. So, you talk about those little things. It's those little things right there where it feels like you're controlling the action. And, we talked about all night that line of Pfizer, Tardif, and Cutler, that combined for Utah's first goal. And the defensive discipline was it was there all night. And let's recap the game. As really, it was just great defensive hockey throughout. Utah and Idaho were scoreless after 1 period. Idaho outshot Utah 12-7. Taryn Pfizer got Utah on the board 1:36 into the second. You can find that highlight on the Grizzlies' official Twitter account at Utah Grizzlies. Ben Tardif and Andrew Nilsson with the assists. Nilsson's got 3 assists in 3 games, and Ben Tardif has an assist in each of the first 3 games this season. It stayed a 1-0 game through 2 periods, and nobody scored in the third until Cameron Wright. An empty netter with 39 seconds left. He fired it from neutral ice from the right side, and that's one he'll remember forever, as that is his first professional goal. Wright tonight had 2 shots, which means he's got 15 shots through 3 games. Now, Domowski gets credited for his 4th goal of the season. He was over on the right side. Well, I'm not sure who was exactly on the right side, but they tried to center. There's about 4 or 5 bodies, and the puck just ended up trickling into the back of the net past the goal line, and that made it 2-1. But the Grizzlies looked like, Idaho had kind of won that face-off. They skated in, they're offside. They got a whistle with about 5 seconds left, and the Steelheads really, there wasn't much time there, and they didn't really get much of a chance as Utah ended up winning the face-off, and Tardif cleared it out. And the Grizzlies come away with the victory. They're now 2-1 on the season. They've won 2 in a row. It's Idaho's first loss of the season as they fall to 2-1, as tonight was their home opener. They won 2 games last week against Iowa.
Wait, tomorrow's a big game in the standings. I know that it's early, and I know it's October, but it's Halloween weekend. I know that, we're all worried about February, March, and April. But I'm telling you,
these games count the same.
Yeah, these games count the same. And when these 2 teams are this closely matched, tomorrow night's a big game. And, the other thing that comes to mind, one of the stars of the night, the ice right here at Idaho Central Arena as they are out there working on it. I mean, it
was kind of unusual. It's usually one of the best ices that you'll see in the league, but it just seemed like it was a little bit soft, a little bit choppy. It kind of had a shining glow there for most of the third period. And guys, legitimately had a tough time handling the puck for most of the game.
Yeah, and what happens is when that water, they Zamboni the ice, so they put water down, and when that water doesn't freeze in a timely manner, it almost, when guys are skating on that, it gets, that snow from their skates turns to slush. And if you don't shovel that away, and we saw the ice crew here at Idaho Central Arena work very hard in every time out, but I mean, when you don't shovel that or you can't get that up, I mean, you saw really soft spots on the ice. And especially on your home rink, you usually don't see the Idaho Steelheads falling down, and I think we saw quite a bit of that tonight. We saw, as Tyson said, pucks jumping over stick blades. Like, it was not the best ice surface we've ever seen.
It was a great defensive battle between 2 good teams. See what happens tomorrow night here at Idaho Central Arena, 6:50 pregame show. 7:10 face-off. Let's get to some scores from around the league before we leave. Rapid City defeated Kansas City 6-4. Remember, the Grizzlies are going to be in Kansas City for a 3-game set next Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Wichita gets their first win of the season. They defeat Tulsa 5-3 in a shootout. Savannah goes to 3-0 this season. Savannah, the new expansion team, they defeat Fort Wayne 4-3. Fort Wayne gets a standing point, but their record falls to 0-2-0-1. Cincinnati shuts out Wheeling 4-0. Norfolk over Maine 3-1. South Carolina defeats Greenville 4-1. The Newfoundland Growlers defeat the Trois Rivières Lions 6-3, and it was also a 6-3 final as Kalamazoo defeats the Iowa Heartlanders. Iowa has given up 6 goals in each of their first 3 games this season. It's their second year of existence. Games that have gone final. Oh boy, Monty, you got a real topic here as East Carolina defeats BYU 27-24. BYU has lost 4 in a row as they fall to 4-5 this season.
Do they make a bowl game?
East Carolina goes to 6-3. Jazz lose 117-107. They were in Denver tonight. Both teams are now 4-2 on the season. And in the World Series, bottom of the 9th, Phillies and Astros are tied at 5. Houston's the home team, and they are up right now, tied at 5. Neither team has scored past the 5th inning.
Make sure you check me out on YouTube. We do Jake and I do a show every morning live at the Maverick Center, 6 to 9 Mountain Time, depending on where you're watching us from. You can find me on YouTube, The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. I want to shout out some of our great listeners tonight. William Yarborough, thanks for joining us. Ruane Freeman, Jared Dane, my guy. Good to see you, Jared.
He's in the office next to me. It's good to see. Good to hear from Jared.
Braden Bruder on the broadcast with us tonight, as well as Brian Simpson. So everybody who joined us tonight, just a fantastic hockey game, a great call by Tyson, and a wild, wild night in Boise comes to an end. And Tyson, before we sign this thing off, I mean, we're looking at game 2 of this series tomorrow night. What are some of your main takeaways tonight?
I think it was just a great defensive discipline. I mean, you talk about getting sticks in the way, a lot of deflections, a lot of interceptions. I mean, Idaho's an outstanding offensive team. They've got a lot of weapons, and the Grizzlies really did a great job tonight of taking away time and space in the circles. And you talk about the defensive discipline. You did not see all that many grade A chances out in front of the crease.
No.
And when Lucas Preek had a chance, he was able to glove him cleanly. You didn't see too many second chances, and when there were second chances, Utah was there to make sure Idaho didn't convert on those rebounds. And so You talk about the defensive discipline. That's why the Grizzlies won tonight. And Lucas Preek, second great performance by him in back-to-back games. And tomorrow's going to be a battle because Idaho doesn't want to get swept in a 2-game set here in their own building.
Well, I think all those points, I couldn't have said it better myself. For Tyson Whiting, I'm Tim Montemayor. We'll see you tomorrow night one more time at Idaho Central Arena. The final score, the Utah Grizzlies 2, the Idaho Steelheads 1. Have a great night, everybody.